morning, people. Welcome back to Chelsea Perspective. Welcome back to another matchup preview on Chelsea Perspective, specifically Manchester City versus Chelsea EFL Cup match preview. Today, we'll talk about the chances of us again getting one over Manchester City, but the chances of us doing well, the manager's probable selection. Again, surprise, surprise, that we'll never get it right, but we'll give it a shot anyway. So, about more importantly, again, a good morning, a good afternoon and good evening. I wholeheartedly offer whatever suits your time zone. Thank you so much for finding the time to join the show. I cannot thank you enough. Let me see again. It doesn't look like we have too much in the chat already, but if you're watching, if you haven't, take a second to drop a like on the stream and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Again, a Blue Morning Kachila panel and chat. Again, Leon Len says again, please like and subscribe to help the channel grow and continue to bring us all news and a great pre-game and post-game reviews. So please drop a like and a big up to my brother and friend again, Limitless. Nice to see you here, brother. I hope you're doing well. Says again, chat again, saying morning to everybody. To me, again, I have to be honest, for the first time for a long time, again, even sometimes when I'm not confident, I usually try to find positive, but again, it's hard to see where that is coming from. Again, probably because, again, I'm not saying the manager is a bad manager, but at this point, I'm kind of a bit confused. And not, again, there's no clarity to where you can say, no clarity to where the process is taking us. So I'm concerned for that. Again, for the players, it doesn't look like they really want to play for the club. Plus, we're hearing, seeing some stuff in the media saying how some of them already won out of the club. Some of them don't like how, again, too many changes out of the club. But to me, this sounds like, again, people just digging and finding excuses as to why Arsenal are played us at home and beat us. To me, I really do not want to get into that. But yeah, I'm nervous. This is one game I don't think we're going to win. Clearly, again, I can't even pretend really. Tobago, bro, how are you doing, bro?
Good, thanks. How are you?
I can't complain. I can't complain really. Again, the derby loss. No matter how hard you try, it's not something that's easy to do with. Again, to sweep under the rug, it will take a while. Again. But that's why we just quickly let me see what we have here. Again, let me let says evening, doing well. I hope you too. I am doing well, brother. And again, glad to hear that you're doing well. So yeah, it's evening for you. For me, it's still 3:05 a.m. Uh, Tobago, have you gotten over it? Or you're still, again, it's still, it isn't easy for you.
Easier about what they defeat against Arsenal.
Yeah.
No, I'm fine. As I said it yesterday, I'm
Mhm.
fine. I wanted us to lose yesterday
Can you,
on Sunday.
yeah, when you say you wanted it to lose, can you explain what you mean by that, really?
Okay, I'm going to explain. Uh, After the game we lost against Brighton.
Uh-huh.
Remember, I've told you like after the game, grandpa called name, and the players were called such names, and then they were complaining about the system. We're playing three at the back. It's not working anymore. We should just finish it. No more back three. Fine, cool. As as soon as I saw the lineup on Sunday, I just wanted to hear another excuses from our fan base if you are going to lose. So I was glad that we lost that game so that I can see the real Chelsea fans, the real angry fans, the real frustrated fans. So I just wanted to listen to them and read their text, complaining about the system, complaining about Grandpa. You can see these players, they look tired or they look like they don't want to play anymore. So that's the issue at the moment. So
Yeah, are you seeing those the reports out there? How some of them, again, we already know some of them won out, but we're reading that some of them are not happy with a change of staff every now and that makes to a certain extent makes sense. But to me, like I said, it's just people just looking to find the excuses as to why we lost. But it's not difficult to believe, really. The players aren't happy with the way staff are being let go because that these are staff that they've developed, again, a bond with. So when you let them go, it can cause some dissent within the camp. But that's just nonsense anyway. I'm not gonna. That's not never excuse to lose. A lot went wrong to me. I'm not gonna go into that again. We're here to preview an upcoming game, but I get your point. Really,
And
again, go
and
ahead.
coach,
Mm-hmm.
like, to be honest, and then we like to talk about this on your channel. If a player is not happy at Chelsea, the club should just let them go, because we don't want trouble in the dressing room anymore. You see what happened with Lukaku. Hakim Ziyech is not playing anymore. Maybe it's instruction from the owners that we should just let him go. Don't play him a lot of games, because this kid wants
You
to
don't
go.
even need instruction because when you're absent-minded, when you're at a place but you're not mentally there, or let me say, if you're not spiritually there, everybody around you can sense it. Maybe the manager is seeing that really Ziyech isn't there with the team, but we don't know really. But we'll get into that in a bit. But I get what you're talking about, and let's be honest, it was never going to be easy for the club to let players leave like that because we didn't sign enough. And again, it was clear to them that we need more players rather than leave players go. So even those that wanted to leave, the club didn't really want to let them go, before being honest. But that's by the way, let me get what we have in the channel. We'll come back. We start looking again at the preview in the game. Again, if you're watching, if you haven't, take a second to drop a like on the stream. We have just 9 likes. Let's try and get 100 likes today. If you're a mod, again, wherever you are, just talk more about it, share the show. Let's make it another, again, 100 since the transfer window shot. We've made 100 likes just twice, I think. Let me see again. I think he should play some academy kids for this game. I think he should, but then again, I think we're learning. Or for me, I would say I've learned that he's probably still we see it as an opportunity to experiment with the first team. I don't know, but again, we'll give it a shot. We'll try predicting the lineup. Again, hi Tobago. Let's see again. Let me see what we have here. Hi guys. Again, this is Tibogo Tao. I don't know if you know the person. Again, if you're watching, if you haven't, drop a like on the stream and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. It says again, yes, especially want to see Lewis Hall, Omari Hutchinson, and Zakaria. I want to see Omari Hutchinson really. He's such a talent. You could say he's the only player available to us now that, again, you could say that offers something different really. Pace, speed, pace, quick feet, again, dribbling ability and all that, however you want to phrase it, he's got, and he can shoot quite well from outside the box, even though he's still that very young. The beautiful games is, again, might have to upgrade it to, again, Tobago to business class on the Porter outpost. Tobago, he's looking for your fight. I'm sure you're not Porter out. But big up to
No,
the
hell
I
no.
hope you're doing well, brother. What?
No, coach. Like I said, this is a overall performance from Graham Potter, from the players.
Mm-hmm.
I know the managers always take the blame, unfortunately. But again, this is an overall performance from the players, from the manager. So hopefully these 2 games, man, I wish that they can just vanish so they can focus on the World Cup. Graham Potter can have time now to set his settings, his one formation or 2 formations that will stick with it, so that the players can get along and get used to what he's trying to do. Because at the moment, it's not looking good. But again, I'm patient because I knew Grandpa is not a world-class manager. He will struggle. So overall, I'm not Grandpa out. It's too early for that.
Yeah, we can, if he's staying, we must agree it's a learning process for him. And what comes with the territory is a lot of losses, a lot of surprise, a lot of mistakes. So it's more like, again, giving him, again, I'm for it. If we can get him to start again to build something that will last, fine. And like, who was that made that argument that, again, we're not gonna, again, he if we're really looking for a manager to build something solid that's gonna last for a while, it will be a manager like him who's still starting as, again, who's not, you can say, not yet a big name manager, because a big name manager, again, will look for you to sign big name players, short time fixes for him to win something. And again, yeah, I get that argument.
And,
So we must be
coach,
ready to suffer. Really, go ahead.
and a coach.
Hmm.
I know Brighton have a new manager or a new
Hmm.
coach, but truly speaking, Brighton are Graham Potter's image
Oh yeah,
because
we can't take that away from him. Really, we can't take
he
that away
drills
from
those
him.
players very well. Now they are doing well because the new coach things for him are easy because these players are well drilled, and then we've a tight budget. And as a coach like Graham Potter, when a big club like Chelsea give you an opportunity to coach him, you won't say no. This opportunity comes once in a while, so I won't blame Graham Potter. Hopefully, he's up for this challenge, and then he won't mess it up because this chance only comes once.
Oh yeah, it only comes once because if you miss it, other clubs won't even give you a chance. Here's the thing: then you will be again that level of manager. Again, you can say like Mike Hughes' manager, like Mike Hughes has got a chance at Man City with all the money they had, but he couldn't do it. So to me, I'm all for us establishing again a long-term project, but all I can say, it's something I've said 1,000 times. Let them at least take it gradual. Don't make drastic changes. Take it gradual. Follow the punch if you prefer, so that again it doesn't hurt too much. Because if it hurts too much, it will hurt so badly, it will hit the book of the new owners. Even though they hired him again with the intention to be patient with him, but if we miss out of the Champions League, they will be asking some big questions because millions again in revenue again will drop. But that's why we get that game showed how unbalanced the team is, how much the coach needs, and then again, and how again maybe show them more about the players. If the argument is that he doesn't know them well, this is me just trying to sound a bit positive here. But the truth is, again, the selection, as much as the game against the selection against Brighton was suicidal, the selection in that game also was suicidal. But we will move on from that one. This is where I have a problem with Porta. Again, a club of Chelsea stature should not be a learning process for a coach. That is just the truth. Again, we've made again if it's a mistake, we've made that mistake, and haven't learned again what I've learned about. You could say again, Todd Bowley, how he operates. He's willing to give it more than just a yay, as long as he believes it's going to work. It would take like us finishing close to the bottom table for them to say, you know what, this was a mistake. Because no matter how everybody sees it, I don't think we'll be playing this badly had again the previous manager stayed. Let me not just call his name so it doesn't look like we're here to compare them. And I really do not want to do that. Let's move on from that and as quickly as possible get into the match review that we're here for. Again, it's supreme. And I understand your argument. Again, we have some serious issues now. Porta, the players, everything. It's everywhere. Like I think it was. I'm gonna steal again a comment that my brother made, and I'm not gonna give him a credit, but I know the person that said it knows they said this thing, but it was a delicious comment, and it says a good manager can make bad players look good, and that will bring you back to what you could say. You could argue Tuchel did that, but you could say again a bad manager, and again good players can make a bad manager look good. And if you ask me, I'd say that was how lucky, who was it again? Zinedine Zidane was when he had all those players he had at Madrid. Then you could argue again, but then clearly, bad manager and a bad team go, or you could say, let me just say respectfully, a learning manager and again a bad team is a bad combo, really, because there will be lots of mistakes. But that's by the way again. And if we're arguing that mistakes are unavoidable, given the fact that because you can say because we have a new manager, the process takes time. Yeah, Tuchel came in mid-season. Conte came in, I think, mid-season. Did he even have a preseason before or anything? Yeah, but that's my point. Is again, it is how you are. Try to implement the way you like your football played. If you do it in a drastic way, a lot of problems will happen. If you take it gradually, you can avoid the issues. But it doesn't look like Porta is paying attention to what's happening in the previous games and knowing that selecting certain players who will help us achieve a different outcome or maybe a desirable outcome. Again, Graham Potter ain't as serious for this job, you have every right to argue that. Again, if we get beaten by Man City 4-0, then he should be sacked. It's even not going to happen even if we get beaten by Man City. There's a lot at stake. The ego of those people that think he's the solution will be at stake. Plus how much the payoff will be a lot of money because it's a 5-year contract, really. So let that sink in again. And it wouldn't be fair again to him. Again, he left Brighton for Chelsea, so give him time. Let's see what happens. No club for him to go to again. And apparently, Jorginho wants 12 million a week. It's a joke. Here's the thing. I'm going to come back to this. As much as most people are arguing that nobody will pay Jorginho how much he wants, one thing is clear. Even if nobody pays him, again, close to what he wants or how much he wants if he leaves Chelsea in terms of his weekly salary, he gets, again, a sign-on fee, which comes in bulk, which I have argued here before. Even if Chelsea wants to keep Jorginho, it's going to be really, really difficult now because he knows fully well that if he leaves Chelsea, he gets a sign-on fee. And I don't think Chelsea will offer him anything close to that. Your thoughts on that? And this coming down the screen again, Tobago.
Oh man, man. Again, now due to Jorginho, it's up to the club to decide whether they give him what he wants or they let him go. Simple as that. Because we can't be arguing about Jorginho. Jorginho is a very important player, and I said it before. It's not good to release.
Especially how Graham Potter likes to play, he's the most important player right now, whether anybody likes it or not. But go ahead with what you're saying, brother.
And as I said, as I said,
Okay. Mm-hmm.
the time we let Matic go to Manchester United, we got Bakayoko. I feel that was a biggest mistake. Sometimes when you get new players or new midfielder, especially in the midfielder, you need to just let one of the experienced one, so that when the new players are coming in, they can learn the culture of Chelsea. Then the following season or 2 seasons after, we can let go of them. Because we can't say let go Jorginho, Kovacic, Kante, and bring new midfielders. Do you think they will work in the same time? No, they won't. And you know our fan base, they will be calling them names. That's the issue I'm having at the moment. So I feel like we should learn from that. We should learn from that.
Yeah, again, it's about making the process, the transition seamless. If you bring in again a new player and you don't have again an older player, you can say a more experienced player in that role to help ease make the transition seamless, the change can be drastic and it creates a problem. And I think you've talked about that before, where if things are going wrong, you don't have any old head around who's played in that position to come in again and make it easy. So but it sounds easy to people to just let a player go, and you can say one of the reasons why we're struggling, we haven't replaced Willian, we haven't replaced Pedro. We're just going for fancy names. We went and look at again what we have that's working for us. We went looking at players that will come in and be able to fulfill the role of Willian or Pedro. We just saw again the big name, again the biggest name in Europe, very young, and again just signed them. And now look at what we're going through right now. We haven't really replaced those two guys. Again, why would we again have got again a more experienced coach for the process? People are acting like again we had to get a coach like Potter to do this new process. I just don't understand. Again, we're there already. There's no turning back. We have to weather it. Whether again it works or again it becomes again it shows that firing Tuchel was a mistake. It's yet to be found out. There's still quite enough time for us to find out that Conte deserves the amount of money Jorginho requested for, and that helps you to understand that again, even keeping Kante, even though you could go to the negotiation table with the argument that he's injury prone, it's still not easy to keep him. And in his case, there are no shortage of clubs willing again to pay him what he wants. Given if their clubs would be again happy to get even 20 games per season from him, they'd be okay with that. given that they know him quite well and what he's capable of doing. Let him enjoy at Barcelona. Again, that is if that's where he goes. To me, I think he's more likely to go to Italy. But we'll see. It's not our decision. Alonso commented on Tuchel that he wanted to stay at Chelsea. I'm not sure. Can you elaborate what you mean by that? But let's come back to the panel. Let's start talking about the game that we're here to review. Let's look at it again. First, I want to ask you this, Tobago. And before I do that, I want to say the app I'm using. Again, I'm using, you can say, the paid version, which is more of a donation. The payment you make, I think it was $8. But still, again, it's only fair that I give them credit. It's such an intuitive, again, and very nice app. You can get it on Huawei products, Android apps, and Apple, again, and Android products and Huawei products. Very intuitive, real-time notifications on what's going on in the game, statistics and everything. But again, give it a shot. It's only fair that I give them credit because I'm using it. They're not paying me. Again, and I'm not, you can say I'm not paying them for using it on the show. Yeah, it's only fair that I give them credit. So, Tobago, let's look at this here. Before we before we start looking at the inside, I want to ask you this: is this a game you're excited for? Yeah, are you looking forward to it, or you're really concerned?
About this game, I'm more excited about seeing our youngsters playing. It's been a while not seeing our youngsters playing, so I hope Omari Hutchinson, Luis Hall, Armando Broja will give it a chance tomorrow. I just pray and hope Grandpa do the right thing tomorrow. Just play those kids. Let's see what they have, and then maybe they have a key to unlock something for Chelsea Football Club to us this season. So hopefully tomorrow we're gonna see Luis Hall, Omari Hutchinson, and then Broja. But overall, I'll just judge the game before I see Manchester City's lineup because Man City love this trophy a lot. So they might play a strong team, which is a big team, but it's stronger than us. So I will wait and see tomorrow, Coach.
Yeah, I agree with you. Again, Pep doesn't joke with cups. Again, doesn't just joke with any competition because winning everything that comes your way is how you develop winning mentality. That's how you could say how you inculcate that in your players is by winning every game that comes your way. It doesn't matter the team. If you're better than the team, show that you're better than the team with a score line by beating the team 10 goals to nothing if possible. That's who Pep is. And to me, and you made a very, very important comment. You again looking forward to this game as an opportunity to give the young ones a chance, to give Omari Hutchinson a chance, give Lewis Hall a chance, give Connie Chukwuemeka a chance if it is fit. But given that we're learning that again he's out with a hamstring injury, it's really hard to say whether he gets a chance to start. But here's the thing, again, let's really talk about Graham Potter. I think he would be more, you could say, concerned about winning this game than giving youngsters a chance. He did that against Zagreb. Even the older players didn't even get a chance. I don't know if you get my argument. So I think he fueled the best team. Yeah, it just doesn't make sense. And like I talked about before, I know it sounds funny, but it really isn't. You got the kid, Armando Broja, to participate in the press conference. And probably the kid went home, tell all his family and friends he's going to start a Champions League game for Chelsea. And did he even come on? If he came on, but it was nearly towards the end of the game. So he had a more again. I don't know. There's no telling what Graham Potter would do. I know you said, again, what do you think he'd do? Really? Do you think he'd give them a chance? Tobago, you feel that when you come back, I want to hear from you whether you think he'd give youngsters a chance. Do you think he'd give them a chance, given what he did to Armando Broja? More like, again, toiling with him or playing with him after the press conference and all that. He still didn't get a chance to start the Champions League game, of which before time was just, the game was just a mere formality. When win or lose, we still top the table. And he went with, you could say, the strongest 11 possible on that day, not starting Broja, not even starting him against Arsenal. How do you think he, again, this is an important game. I don't think he'd risk it because he'd see it as an opportunity to win something, and he wouldn't want City to disgrace us. So probably the result is important to him. Your thoughts? Do you think he'd give them a chance, really, if you're being truthful?
Giving Broja a chance tomorrow.
Maybe if you didn't give him a chance in the Champions League, that's meaningless. But this one, there's a trophy at stake right now. Again, if we're out, we're out. We're not getting a chance. Do you think he gives him a chance? I want to know, really.
Okay, to be honest, coach, as we talked yesterday, I feel like Newcastle game is very important for us now at the moment. So I just want kids tomorrow to play. It's a cup game, and then when it's a cup game, first rounds, normally teams are mixing up with the academy products. So tomorrow I just want to see Broja playing. I just want Aubameyang sitting on the bench or not even play, just to watch this game because we will need him against Newcastle. We'll need his experience against Newcastle. So I just want Broja tomorrow to play 90 minutes. He deserves it because he signed a long-term contract, and then we need to reward him. Why we are not?
Sure, he trust him, but it doesn't look like. I don't think he would believe that Graham Potter trusts him, really. I don't think so, if you ask me. That's how I see it. But that's, by the way, let me catch up while we're having the chat here. We should have saved money from buying Cucurella. Here's the thing, I'm going to say this again. He's a fine player. He started well under Thomas Tuchel. Even Raheem Sterling started well under Thomas Tuchel. I'm not saying it's Potter's fault. Something is clearly not right. I don't think it's his fault. A lot is going wrong in that team. I think he's just being scapegoated right now. I've seen a lot of good than mistakes in him, really. But that's, by the way, we're moving from that. Again, let me see what else we have here. Again, yeah, Cucurella is front. Again, if that's how you see it, you have every right to do so. They stole Rafinha and Kunde. Nope, we didn't really want Kunde. Rafinha, yes, not even stole. It's again. I don't want to get into that really. Again, let me see what else we have here. All of them. Yeah, let's not stop again. Let's not start blaming a particular player. Again, everything was going to go wrong went wrong on the day. Broja will get his chance. Patience, please. We can see how raw he is. You tell him. Again, you tell him in little by little. I understand what you're saying, but again, I just don't understand the logic. But again, why he didn't start that game against Zagreb. At least if you were going to start the Birmingham against Arsenal, rest him. Yeah, but that didn't happen really. True of our last transfer window, if you could argue that again, Potter is not giving youth a chance. Again, you can see it. And which youngster has he given a chance at a Chelsea with all the opportunities? You can say just one opportunity, not all the opportunities at this point. Again, it's hard to say what Potter should would do against a City. Again, I don't find this cup important, and I wanted to keep some of our better players arrested. At the same time, I don't want a City to disgrace us because it will shatter the confidence of the players if they disgrace us. And Pep isn't the one to take his foot off the pedal. If his team gets a chance again to deal with any team, they don't look back really at all. Again, Matthew Lee Benjamin, again, like the video. Yes, people like the damn video, says my brother. Again, big up you all. Big up to you too, Matthew Lee Benjamin. I hope you're doing well. Again, if you're just joining, if you haven't, take a second to drop a like on the stream and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. So Tobago, let's look at this here. The inside says Manchester City, they haven't lost in 5 matches in a row. Again, the record overall, you could say, is near immaculate, really. And we haven't kept a clean sheet in 5 games. On paper, again, you can say statistically, looking at this inside, you could say this is a game we've lost, really. All I'm asking is just let's not get disgraced, really. Let's play well. Let alone, again, it being that, again, we played well. Let it just be that we played well. but the result didn't go our way. I don't want to see that again. What we saw against Arsenal, but no matter the players, it was again. You can say looked like they didn't want to be on the pitch, but at least everything starts with a selection. So that's why we get into trying to predict what team would do better for us against Manchester City. Tobago, looking at this insight again, both of them on paper clearly they're winning really without even looking at their players. Recent again, they haven't lost in 5 games, and we haven't kept a clean sheet in 5 games. The truth about Man City is that they defend well. Will you get a chance? Yes, you will get a chance. But again, if they score for us, we're practically finished because we're not one of those things that you say will start again defending to limit the damage. With that team that if they score for us, will be all out to get an equalizing goal, which means more spaces for them to do more damage against us. Your thoughts looking at this two again points, inside points. What do you think?
Coach, I feel like the game we played against Arsenal, we defended very well. And then overall, that corner kick was a poor mistake from our players. And then another thing, if you're not clinical or not deciding very well when it comes to the final pass in the final third, we're going to be punished because we can't even rely a lot from our defenders. It's so annoying. Our attackers should do more, should be clinical. Every time we get chances, we should just make sure it counts. But at the moment, I don't know where our players are lacking confidence because we had this under Thomas Tuchel. We also had this under Frank Lampard. So due to we are not clinical enough at the moment. Man, I don't know. I'll just wait and see tomorrow.
Again, this one here says again, Porter doesn't like our academy. I think it's too soon to jump to that conclusion. He's given again. You can say he has. No, I think it's too soon to jump to that conclusion, really, because cup games are usually when you again the young players they get the opportunity, which is again the next game against Manchester City. But unfortunately, given recent results, he'll probably not risk it. Given again that there's no guarantee we'll make it into top four. It's not a given. A lot of good teams are fighting for that the top four position, and yeah, let's see what he does really. Again, but he had an opportunity, and that was against. You can say again, that was against Zagreb, but Omari Hutchinson was never going to be part of that, given that he wasn't registered for that competition. I'm not sure something again, but we'll see what happens. It's too early. I wouldn't say that now. Again, Kadius Muzitiri, I hope I pronounced your last name correctly. If you haven't, please take a second to again drop a like on the stream and subscribe to the channel, people. Come on, let's do that. Tobago, you want to comment on this? Would you say at this point that he doesn't like the academy? To me, I think that's harsh, really.
Yeah, coach, that's harsh. Remember, the reason why they hired Graham Potter is because he's so good on the academy players. You can give them time. But at the moment, as you said, Graham Potter is new at Chelsea. He's trying to finding his team, learning from his players. He won't risk put young players there for the sake of playing, while he knows his job is under pressure. So overall, it's too early for that.
Yeah, it's too early, really. And something else. Let me just catch up with the chat. But something else I want to talk about. Again, it could be his downfall, or his biggest mistake could be not rewarding performance, really. And the persistent on playing Raheem Sterling could cost a lot of again dissent in the dressing room. But we will get to that in a bit. Let me catch up with what we have in the chat here. Again, yes, again, thank you for that comment. Again, it makes us explain something that people will learn from. I'd say again, Koulibaly and Mendy start at least. Mendy still needs it. Yeah, Mendy will start most definitely to find again his confidence in Koulibaly. Didn't play last game. Why? I just don't know. Again, a cover Thiago Silva again in bubble wrap. I think both actually has to start. If you ask me, we need again. That was you could say had Koulibaly been on the pitch. I don't think Kai Havertz will be the one in that position really again, and I don't think we'll concede that. Even if Koulibaly centrally, he'd read it very well. And Gabriel that stabbed in the ball. I don't think he'd get the chance to do that. The academy players we have aren't good enough. Again, trust him, trust his views, point, bro. Again, he sees something we didn't see. You could say that again. We have nothing to lose. Give Broja Zakaria and Omari Hutchinson a chance. No, we have a lot to lose. This is a cup game, and you could say possibly the only trophy we get a chance to win this season. If we're being honest, that's why I'm saying if he didn't start those players we expect to see, such as again starting Broja, who was on the bench really, starting Broja. If he didn't start Broja against Zagreb, which was again that was a mere formality. Again, to rest Aubameyang, so his reasoning, I'm starting to question his reasoning really. To rest Aubameyang, who again after the antics and all that we saw, to play against Arsenal, I'm not sure how Graham Potter thinks. And like Roger would say, he's predictably unpredictable, and it's to me in a dangerous way really. Again, let's see quickly again here. Again, I'd like Zakaria and Pulisic to start as well. If they perform, again, we can use them against Newcastle. Do I believe Graham Potter would do that? No. But do I think Christian Pulisic to start 700% over Raheem Sterling? But probably Raheem Sterling will start. And the logic would be he knows Man City well and probably will have to show them what they're missing. So I don't know. And like my brother and friend Josh says, who does, again, Christian Pulisic need to punch to start starting games when he deserves to start? Really, again, a big up my brother. Again, I pray again to be happy again. Yeah, we need prayers, really. We need prayers again. Big up to you too, Mike. I hope you're doing well. If Pulisic don't start at this one, then I would just give up on Porter altogether. I'm willing to give him a chance, but not if he keeps making poor decisions and late subs. Again, some people will say he made in-game adjustments and all that, but that's not enough. There are things when you see in a game, again, if you're a good manager, your senses, you need to make change. The Arsenal change took too long, and that wasn't the first time. And again, I don't want to get into that really again, but I get your argument. If Christian Pulisic doesn't start the next game, then I don't understand. Just a trade Sterling, we have 50% of our problems solved. Oh my gosh! I still can't believe.
But coach,
Yeah.
In terms of making subs, I saw the game against Liverpool against Man City. The time Liverpool won 1-0. Can you believe it? Pep Guardiola never made the change that game.
Were they playing as badly as we were playing against Arsenal?
No, all I'm saying, like sometimes.
That's the difference.
I agree.
Yeah. You're laughing at yourself, but you understand my point then. That's the difference. But if your players are playing well and the goals are not coming, you can leave things as they are. But Arsenal outplayed us. The most hilarious thing is that they were able to pass the ball between the legs of our players, actually. And it was with intent. It wasn't by accident. They outplayed us. XG, they kept the ball more than we did. And believe me, they shouldn't be keeping the ball more than us. The whole thing is down to approach, which we should have changed. The whole thing is down to the tactics, really. As much as I know he needs time, he got it wrong. And the players, again, didn't help matters either. But go ahead if you were still saying something, brother. Let me see. It looks like he's busy. I'm going to keep talking with you here again. Good morning, everyone. My brother, Jamport Entertainment. I haven't forgotten. Again, I will support your projects most definitely, but we'll talk soon. Again, I'll see how I can help. Again, good morning again, everyone. I hope you're having a good day. Please, again, remember to like and share the stream, people. That's important. Again, the more you share the stream, the more the YouTube algorithm will be triggered. But the likes are important too. Drop a like on the stream. We have just 16 likes. We should be doing better than that. I don't understand why Koulibaly was on the bench, honestly. Again, Koulibaly being on the pitch, he will not only that's him. You could say he's just being economical with what we have. He doesn't want to put the whole eggs in the same basket, but that's doing it only when he shouldn't be doing it. when you expected him to do that, he does the opposite. He should have started that game. And believe me, had Koulibaly been on the pitch, we'd play better because Koulibaly participates in the play overall. He breaks the line even from deep the defensive area and all that. But he decided, again, for some reason, I don't know. But then again, I don't know what changed. Usually under Thomas Tuchel, after, again, the lineup comes out, somebody gets to ask him why he started a certain players and why certain player isn't playing. But that hasn't happened on the Graham Potter, really. At Tobago, you're willing to back Potter at all costs. Yeah, he's one of Graham Potter's lawyers. Roger is one of them. Again, I don't know why. Again, I hope for the club's sake, again, it doesn't blow up in our faces. I hope it doesn't.
I'm getting paid actually for Graham Potter.
I am, again, paying close attention tomorrow also, but Omari Hutchinson was told not to attend a Jamaica friendly against Cameroon. So if he doesn't start, I am going to be very, again, upset with Potter. Why stop him from traveling to represent his country again? Then to stay and play again and sit on the bench. I wouldn't be surprised if that happened, given that Broja participated in the press conference. And like I said, as much as it's funny, that can be humiliating. Probably told his friends and family he's going to start the Champions League game and ends up not playing up to 25 minutes. Again, it's sad, again, that the expectation now is that Potter would get his starting lineup and tactics, again, a wing more times than, again, it's acceptable. Maybe his assistance is not good enough at analyzing the opponents. Maybe that's the case. I get it. Tobago, did you see what Liam Denny is saying? He knew you're getting paid. I'm gonna bring in my brother Emperor. We haven't seen in a while. I hope you're doing well, bro. Again, welcome back to the panel. It's been a minute. I hope things are well with you. Your thoughts. Let me start again by asking you: are you looking forward to the Man City game? Let's start from there, really.
Big up, coach. Can you hear me?
Big up to you too, my brother.
Yeah, man. It's been a minute, and it's been a minute, and we haven't spoken in a minute. But what we are seeing is what we asked for, basically. Potter ball, right?
Oh yeah, and people were screaming he has arrived after beating Salzburg without even looking at the number, realizing we were actually lucky on the day. Actually, but go ahead.
Yeah, City, man. Okay, can I just say something about Potter that I don't like at the moment?
You have every right to, brother.
In certain games, he's not proactive. Like, he makes plans where you're like, did you really need to do that though? Like, I get, like, we have to set up in a manner, but like, don't make like silly mistakes. Like, there's no need for you to make certain mistakes over and over again, because we've seen how we play with certain players in certain positions, and it does not work. Like, mounting that midfield pivot does not work, so it's useless you doing it over and over again. But yeah, Potter. We as Chelsea fans, we need to agree that we have signed into Progress FC and Trust the Process FC. Sorry, and this is it. This is where he's gonna learn on the job. We're not gonna be free flowing, winning games as we used to do in different games, etc., etc. But this is
being pragmatic whenever necessary.
Yeah, like, we are not title challengers for any time soon. We are not the old Chelsea where we just sack a manager and go on to win the trophy. Even though we signed an Arsenal player, we all know that an Arsenal player wins a trophy at Chelsea. So those days are gone, and we need to be content with this. Like, this is it. And looking at ahead in terms of City, yeah, man. What else can we say, man? We have riddled with
So
injury.
your reaction to the City game, whether you again your response is yeah, man, that's just go ahead, Emperor, you're killing
But coach,
me.
like that's the thing. Like if you look at the people on the pitch, I mean, Arsenal didn't have to be really, really good. They just, played through us. And the personnel, again, Jorginho was not supposed to touch that pitch. I don't care what people say about Jorginho. Yes, he's been
Okay, we're
brilliant
not gonna get
with
into that.
Chelsea.
Otherwise, you and I will start throwing punches. But go ahead.
Yeah, but okay. I feel like personally he was not supposed to start that game. Reason why is because again, in every game he gets passed through. Like our midfield just, they just dissect us. And it's not a hint at Jorginho. It's just that he needs a lot of bodies around him to bring the game that he likes out. But yeah, and if you're looking at City, they already have technicians in the midfield. Like they can pass through anyone on their day, and we need to be, on our Spurs game. I don't know if you remember our Spurs game
Yeah,
where
yeah, yeah.
we stopped them from playing, and it needs a lot of energy, and everybody needs to know what they're doing. Another thing that Chelsea right now, they don't know what to do. Like even in that Arsenal game, majority of the game, players were like, I don't know whether to press, whether to set. They're disjointed. We can't be playing like that at home against Arsenal. Like I know, like Arsenal are playing better. They're more,
Being factual, and let me just ask you again, because it's gonna get worse against City, really. It will get worse against City in terms of Arsenal had more balls than we did. They get more ball position than we did, and against City, it's gonna get worse. What I want to find out from you, the lackluster performance we saw, the fact that they outplayed us. Just to get that from you, because it's gonna happen again. So let's talk about it now, and because we get into talking about what the manager has to do to avoid such awful performance against Man City. Was it what we saw against Arsenal? Would you say it was down to the manager's approach or the players?
I think it's both sides. I don't think any player that's wearing a Chelsea shirt, number one, they start there. When you see that Arsenal fixture, there's no excuse for not turning up. You can't. There's no excuse. Like,
first of all, the derby.
Yeah, it's a derby. So immediately, I don't care.
Arsenal, just quickly, which in the case of Arsenal for the past 2-3 years, I'm going to say this again because it applies when we're talking about Arsenal. Arsenal would lose a million game, and we've won a million game, and the next game is between both teams. Arsenal will be at their best. That's when they turn around their season and they make sure they win us. They're not gonna lose a million on one games. They have that spirit, but we don't have that spirit. But go ahead.
For some weird reason, there's no excuse for not turning up against your rivals. Like that's number one. Like I don't care what happens. You're having a bad season. In that game particularly, you need to turn up, and that's on the players. Like regardless of what's going on, our injuries and everything. If you're wearing a Chelsea shirt, you need to turn up. Because for players like Zakaria, for example, he doesn't know this fixture and he's on loan. I would understand him not turning up, etc. And he did not play, yes. But for everybody else, the Mounts of this world, all the Carbon boys, they need to turn up for this game. Like it needs to be that game.
But
So
you did
they
mention
are
something. Why play him that deep? Where we've learned that he's useless. At least whenever you play him that deep. He's not the best player on the pitch, but it gets worse when you play him that deep. So that's why I'm saying it's all on the manager. Let's just bring it back to the game against Manchester City. What can we do differently, really?
Look, there's no way of stopping City from playing. Number one, we need to be okay with that.
At least, again, had we played better against Arsenal and lost that game, everybody would be okay with it. But we were outplayed.
Exactly.
So what can we do? To me, I don't see anything we can do differently because Potter is never pragmatic. It's never. But go ahead.
It's very sad because we have to deal with Haaland, especially what Mendy said, those stupid comments that Mendy said before the season started. And he said, we don't have to worry about Haaland. There's other strikers in the league. And I was like, bro, don't set yourself up. Like, I mean, the Aubameyang, we just saw what happened to Aubameyang in the Arsenal
Yeah.
game. In this game, like Chelsea, if they pull out a performance, everybody's going to be happy, even if we lose, right? And the thing is, with City right now, they don't control games like they used to, which is a bonus for us. You get what I'm saying?
Again, Pep is becoming more pragmatic.
Yes, like they just score goals, and they can't find as much as Haaland is scoring goals. Yes, it's kind of tricky because not a lot of times in the City games where you see them, controlling games like they used to. Like City used to like thrash you. They control the game, they make the decisive passes, and the ball is in the back of the net. Now they have a technician, yes, they have a finisher in Haaland, yes, but they lost a little bit of control in the midfield. And you can gain that.
You can say it's by design, really.
Yes. So if we can, I don't know how we're gonna do it, but if we can step back the midfield.
You're still laughing at us. But go ahead.
The thing is, there's no Chelsea fan in the world that's thinking we can go there and get a result. And we all know Pep is a freak. He wants this trophy. He loves this trophy. We kicked him out previously. He was gonna want to prove a point. We took the Champions League away from him. He's gonna want to prove a point. So in this game, man, away at City at night, oh man, I don't know. I don't know what Potter needs to do, but whatever he does, I think it's gonna be his job. Like in this game, he needs to win because I feel like the pressure is gonna get to him in a certain way because Chelsea fans are not used to processes and trusting the manager that long. We were willing to do that under Tuchel for the first time. And the reason why is because Tuchel brought a trophy. So
and
here's a new manager.
Plus, he suffered with us.
Yes, like he went through a lot worse than this, and he had arguably the same injuries that Potter has right now. Like, and he gave the players played their all, like they gave their heart on the pitch, and they would never have a performance where you're like, what happened there? Maybe that West Brom game, yes, where Thiago Silva had a madness. Even Thiago Silva lately, he's been having, iffy games, and we need to call that out. Like,
because he's overplayed at his age. You can make excuses for him. Even on his worst day, he's still one of the best players on the pitch. Go ahead.
Exactly. And this is my point again with Chelsea's scouting and the whole backroom staff. Guys, buy players, please. Jesus Christ. We are done. We overuse Kante. We're overusing Chilwell again. He's injured. Now we're trying to force him. I just read reports of Rhys James now trying to make the World Cup.
What's that? Why take that risk?
I mean, Chelsea, buy players, 2 players for each position. I do not care. Like, Rhys James needs to be rested, and we know the next person is another Rhys James. Like, we need to have that at Chelsea. We don't have a DM. We need 2 DMs. People are saying we just need 1. Bro, we need 2. Like, it's that deep for Chelsea. Like, we need a right wing. We don't have a right wing. So, Chelsea's problems are big, and to add on that is that we are facing them within the season. Like, yes, Graham Potter went through. I cannot take away from what Potter did. He's in the last 16. Good kudos, right? Yeah. Like, he did that, and he got us playing good football here and there, glimpses, yes, but again, the personnel gets to a point where we are tired right now. Like, every player is tired. And we are going to a City side that's refreshed, looking good. Yes, they were kind of off their day, but we know City off their day still can pack you 5-0.
Oh, yeah, that was the day I learned that De Bruyne can also be a warrior. That their last match, oh my goodness. Let me just catch up with the chat. Yeah, let me catch up with the chat, and I'll get back to you guys.
Before you go, before you go to the chat, and I know Deborah knows what I'm saying. Like I've said this in the space before. Like while people were in the high, and I'm like, our performances are dog shit. Like we
Mm,
concede a lot of chances, and we've been saved by
yeah,
Kepa.
just language. I know
Oh,
what you
sorry.
said.
I'm
No,
sorry,
no, but
Kobe,
go
but
ahead, go ahead. I know you want again. I don't blame you, brother. Go ahead.
yeah. So we've been poor for large of our games. We could have
Mm.
conceded a lot of goals if only Kepa.
Oh
Kepa has
yeah.
just proved masterclass game after game. But for our goalkeeper to be our best player is really worrying. And I saw these results coming for a long time ago. It's just that the players are tired. They have to play another good side in Arsenal. And yeah, man, and we have to play
Mm.
again. And again, we still have to travel to Newcastle, who are looking really good as well. So
Even bet you could
yeah,
say again. You could say a stronger side to play, a more difficult side to play against than Arsenal, because Newcastle
exactly.
they're not just there to attend you one beat. They exploit the tiniest of spaces they find on the pitch. Okay, but that's by the way again. He's out again. I hope we break the bank for Hendrick again. He's a young generational that we must secure. The lad is a beast on the ball. It's not just us. All the big name again, big clubs are looking for him. Javon, I can only see again a loss again. I hope we will at least give some of our best youth in the game time. Again, I'm going to say this: Potter isn't going to see it that way. He sees it as an opportunity to correct his mistakes, but it's even difficult to say how is he going to do that. What's going to happen really? We don't know what he's just again in the job for less than 3 months. But let's see what he does. Hey, again, Harry Kanechuku, again, thank you so much for finding the time to join the show. My Niger brother and my Igbo brother, by the way, again, thank you. I appreciate that. Make sure to keep liking the stream and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Let's get it to 50 likes as soon as possible. Remember, again, let me see what else here. Anything else? Let's see again. Kachila, I hope again, Bali was again watching Liam Bailey's performance against. He looks, I must say, Liam Bailey looks rejuvenated on that. That's good evening, right? The new coach is good evening. I wish we again restart the campaign to get him at Chelsea because he will be good for Chelsea and will make Sterling better. If you think so, Sterling doesn't play for Jamaica, so I don't think it will make Sterling better. But I get where the argument is coming from. I think he really he's doing better than he's done for a while now. And my brother, again, DJ Saab, big up to you, brother. Thank you so much for finding the time to join the show. He says a big up Kachila and the panel. Porter needs to weave his magic. Yeah, his wand at this point is blunt. Quickly, 2 losses in a row is bad, but if we get battered against Man City on Wednesday and then lose to Newcastle on Saturday, I'd say again. I think the game against Newcastle probably the more important at this point. Again, do I think we'll win against Man City? We'll talk about that. Even getting a draw, I'm not. Again, there's no draw really. One team has to win. I think if no team wins, it goes to penalty. Again, Martinez again almost broke the guy's ribs in front of the ref, and nothing was done. Sometimes. Again, I have to wonder if VAR exists, and it was more than 3 times, like 3 times also. The elbow, we saw that. I don't know why they didn't do anything about that. We saw that happen to Kukurea also, had the hair pulling and all that. I'm not sure what's going on. 3-0 Man City, Harry Kanechiku. Okay. Again, the blunder very badly in the games. Yep, again, God help him staying beyond his 5-year, even completing the 5-year if things don't change as soon as possible, even if we don't sign players. But I think no matter what happens, even if we lose against Man City and lose against Newcastle, he stays again until again the whole again you could say they start looking at him seriously after the world performances after the World Cup and all that. Let's see what we have again. Again, I back him and I want to see him do well. That's again the least we could do. He's Chelsea's manager because if he does badly, Chelsea will do badly. It's as simple as that. Not all again on him. The players too, we recognize that. But again, my only argument is that he should take the whole thing gradual. Don't be drastic about it. I'm not going to even say this, really. I'm not going to say that. Pep alters his tactics every season to make his team unpredictable, so they will defend again a different way, but they still maintain the zonal pressing. That's one thing that's very common with his team. But again, here's the thing: their pressing are very strategic. They don't just run around. They press the life out of you. They read your team quite well. It just looks as if they look at your team and see again, understand how your team presses. Yeah, and understand how your team presses, and then again block the passing lanes, which they did under Thomas Tuchel on 2 occasions the last season after the champion. Was probably so mad after the Champions League game that it looks like he reads the Chelsea team like he read them like under Thomas Tuchel, read them like a book. And that I'm not going to be talking because I was so furious how we couldn't play because of the way they pressed us. I would love if we go back to play information that suits the wingers. Not necessarily right now. Again, I'm not sure it's everywhere, but we'll see. Please like and subscribe. Please keep liking the stream and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Need new midfielders. Again, this midfield that we have is like playing against, again, IA in a FIFA, just do a through ball and they're easily, yeah, again, it is comical.
He's not
really.
wrong.
He's not wrong. It's correct. It's comical, but again, it's just funny. Without Reece James, again, the attacking was terrible. What that shows you is that, again, this is the second season in a row where we're missing Reece James, or the third season where we're learning that really we lack technicians. That's how, again, in the midfield area, or midfielders who are able to create chances from the central area. Since, you can say, since Frank Lampard, since we lost, Cesc Fabregas, we create less chances from the central area. It has always been from the flank, which means if you're able to, again, to defend well against our wingers or wing backs, we're done. And that's a really, really big issue, really. I'll get to that in a bit. Again, Reece James, again, is too good. Again, did you know that, again, Eddie Howe learned from Sarri? He went to Sarri when he was at Napoli to learn from him. I think I've heard Sarri himself talk about that once during an interview. Wow, you're Igbo. Yes, I'm an Igbo boy. Again, I grew up in Nigeria before I moved to the States. Again, do you think a Porter should use the January transfer window? And if so, who should a Chelsea sign or get rid of? I'm going to try to answer this as quickly as possible. We're here to review the Man City game. I'm not going to say get rid of any player. Sign players first. We need, again, reinforcement in the midfield area. We need, if we're going to be playing with a 3 at the back of structure predominantly, like Potter proves he likes that. He did that quite a lot at Brighton. Then we need wing backs. We need one more on the left, you could say, one more on the right to compete with Reece James, not be a backup really, because backup is the issue we had last season. We had Marcus Alonso, but he was just a backup, not as good as Ben Chilwell was before he got injured. So when Ben got injured, we saw how, again, we had an issue. As Aspilicueta isn't getting any younger, in the absence of Reece James, when there's trouble, again, like I said, we can't create chances from the central positions. Then when Reece James isn't playing, that lessens our chance creation lessons quite a lot. So again, we'll be looking, again, the midfield more importantly, to be able, you could say play well, play no matter how the opposition presses. The only player that's capable of doing that now quite well, which I'm still asking why Graham Potter didn't start him against Arsenal, which you could argue a game that was tailor-made for him, is Kovacic. He's the only guy that can play no matter how oppositions oppress us, because he's able to beat press, the opposition press, dribble his way out of tight spaces and all that. We need more of that type of player. And you can say majority of the players we have and actually capable of playing out from the back if oppositions press us well. They just put the ball forward. I don't know. Again, I'm not going to say, so when we talk transfers, we'll talk further about that. But again, thank you for that question. I'm going to come back to the panel here, and I have an AD Love for Blue in the house. AD, are you looking forward to the Man City game? And how do we approach that game differently to achieve a better result or to see a better display than we saw against Arsenal?
Big up, bro.
Yeah, big up to you too, brother. Thank you so much for finding the time to join me.
Big up to the panelists. Yeah. The game. I mean, the game against Arsenal is still. It's not even left my system. I mean, the shock of the performance and what I saw that day, it's hard to just let go because it was unbelievable and not up to scratch at all. You know, for the level at which Chelsea wants to operate and what the standards we've laid for ourselves. I mean, if for Arsenal to come to Stamford Bridge the last 3 seasons and be winning, it's not good at all. I remember there was a time when Arsenal could not even get a result against Chelsea, both home and away, during the days of Mourinho and all. So for Arsenal to be coming to Stamford Bridge and not even being at their best is even the more painful. That they didn't even struggle to get that result. They didn't fight. We didn't even make them work to get that result because our performance was so bad, you know? So that makes it even so painful. And then looking forward to the next game now, it's even because, I mean, we were thinking, oh, if we had won this game against Arsenal, then going into the City game, you give a little bit of confidence, and then you might have to rotate and give some players.
Which was why I argued that game could be a season-defining moment for us and them.
Exactly. So now he has no choice other than to go with the strongest lineup against Man City because we can't afford to lose because it will be domestically, it will be 3 defeats if we lose to Man City because we lost against Brighton in the league, lost against Arsenal now again back to back. And then if we go to Man City again, and I don't see how we're going to get a result, to be honest. I don't see how we're going to get a result against City. It's tough for me to see. And then going again to the last game before the World Cup against Newcastle, I won't be surprised if it's 4 defeats before the World Cup break. So it's not looking good, and Potter doesn't seem to understand this. And it's so painful that these coaches, they go with the decisions that people clearly that are not even coaches as we are can see that this thing is not working, or before the game, if the lineup comes out, we know, oh, this is not going to work. And the way these coaches don't see it, or they tend to see but ignore it, or think they know all, or things are not working. I mean, you can get selections wrong. Everybody is prone to making mistakes, but for you to quickly adjust it, he didn't do nothing. And I still say it again. For Sterling to play 90 minutes with that kind of performance, it speaks a lot. It tells us a lot about what Potter is thinking. And it's so shocking that a manager that I gave my support when he came. I was even writing, oh, let's give him a chance. Tuchel is gone. Let us forget. But now, looking in hindsight, it's looking like it's not looking like he's going to get it right. I pray I'm wrong about this. But the way he's going about it, it looks as if this job is too big for him. And if you say this job is too big for him, look at Eddie Howe. I thought Eddie Howe won't be able to handle Newcastle. But look at the way he's doing it quietly and not signing huge players. He's going about the work, determination, playing them very well, everybody giving his best for the team, trying to make a name for themselves. But Chelsea players, maybe from the manager, it stems from the manager. Manager feels some players are bigger than him. He can't even substitute Sterling. He's leaving Mason Mount, trying playing him every time. And if what we read about Tuchel being sacked, if it has anything to do with Pulisic, because there was this talk about Pulisic falling out with Tuchel and that because American connection and blah, 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 made them to sack him, then which means Potter is going to go in the same line of way, the way it happened, because he's not playing Pulisic. And if Pulisic is sitting there, you're watching Sterling, you're watching Mason Mount playing ahead of you. What motivation is he going to get from that? What more can he do that will say, I'm going to play the next game because I feel I'm better than this player? That's why, when we're saying after the match that why all these players, they didn't even have impact coming on. I said it on the day. I said, there is no way a player who knows clearly that I should be starting ahead of this player, and you're playing him ahead of me. What motivation is he going to get? How is he going to come onto the field to give his best? Because he knows, come what may, the next game, you're going to start the same set of players, and it's not working. We keep talking about signing players. We have to be careful about saying signing players. Do we have a manager that can bring the best out of players we're going to sign? Or we have a manager that will go based on sentiment? So if we keep saying sign, it's good to say sign players. But with this manager, Zakaria, the way he played against the last game, why did Zakaria not even come on against Arsenal? It's beyond me. So where is the reward for hard work? I don't see any reward for hard work from these players. We are not privy to their training, what goes on in training behind the scene and all. But from what we can see from the outside, it is clear that this manager doesn't seem to reward hard work and determination to say, I want to break into this team. That's
I'm
the way it
still,
looks to me.
yeah, and again, I'm still concerned. Really, even his biggest supporters are starting to complain. What he said about Mason Mount, but I really don't want to get into that. And Tobago, before I bring on his lawyer is with us now. My brother Roger, my friend and brother Roger is with us. Before I bring in Roger, to make more argument for Potter, I really do not understand. And Eddie, I'm sure you saw that comment too. But let me start with you, Eddie. Did you see that comment he made about Mason Mount? Even if that wasn't what he meant, that isn't smart. That isn't smart
No,
to say that.
I've not seen the comment. I've not seen that comment.
The comment is something that Mason Mount likes to play. He wants.
Oh yeah. Okay, that one. Okay, yeah. I
That's
saw that
dangerous.
One.
Again, that's him. That's him. Yeah, he's practically creating problems where there isn't one. And see, content creators, they've taken it and they're running with it. For instance, Kafka's view saying that the Graham Potter confirms Mason Mount's power.
Exactly.
So even if that wasn't what he meant, that isn't smart, really. Your thoughts on that comment, really?
Yeah, that comment. Okay, I saw that comment. Wow. So which means if Mason Mount loves to play, so the other players don't like to play. They don't love playing. Is that what it means? Is that what it implies? That the other players don't like to play. Who signs for a football club and doesn't want to play? So if he's making a case already for Mason Mount, he loves to play. So even if he's off form, he still wants to play. So that tells you exactly the way Potter is handling the team, and is showing the other players are saying this. So does he want to tell us that Zakaria would like to play? Does he want to tell us that Pulisic doesn't like to play? Is that what he's implying? That Broja can't start game against teams that he has a Premier League experience? Does he want to tell us that Broja is not good enough to be starting up front? Does he want to tell us that the likes of even Hakim Ziyech is not good enough for him to bring on to come and try and see what he can do? And then you keep playing the same set of players clearly that are not having any impact. I mean, it's not good enough. It tells you his level as a manager. And to be honest, I supported 100% when he was signed, and giving him that long contract as well, which I didn't actually agree
because we want stability. I accepted that because we want stability.
Yeah, but as it's going now, I don't see him except he changes drastically. If he continues this way, I don't see any long-term plan with this man. I mean, it's lucky he's not Abramovich. If he was Abramovich, I'm telling you, he'll be shaking now. Honestly, because it's not good enough. It's not good enough. We can see clearly it's not good enough. You are picking players based on your thinking, not based on their performance. That's not good enough for this football club. So, I mean, if he's saying Mason Mount wants to play, that tells us everything. So we can just, anytime we are doing a preview or whatever we are doing, we should just make sure Mason Mount is nailed on to start any game, which means he loves to play. Others don't like to play.
I don't blame you. Okay. Really. It just is. I'll come to you, Tobago. Just 1 second. I'll come to you in a bit, Tobago. Again, I'll come to you. Then I'll give the lead attorney, Potter's lead attorney, chance also after you speak. It just as I was saying again. Even Roger agrees to that. I think where Roger and I agree is Raheem Sterling starting every game and staying for more than 50 minutes. But the last one, he stayed for 19 minutes after attempting 6 dribbles and got only 1 right. Okay, but that's by the way. And the most surprising thing is that the English content creators, most of them are just pointing fingers. It's just Kai Havertz, and none of them. Only of how many? I didn't see any. Again, most of them say anything. Most of them are. Kai Havertz is on the thumbnail and saying how crappy it is. None of them talked about the English players again. But I'm not going to get into that. That's by the way, really. Again, lucky we aren't playing Man City in the Premier League. We're lucky, yeah. So this is more like a dry run to what's going to happen to us in the Premier League if things don't change. That would be more like it. Again, that's a good theory. Players will put less effort into training if they know they won't get a chance despite the performance on the pitch. A manager cannot pick a team just based on a player rep. This is a delicious comment. Plus, I think who was that said something similar on the pitch? I think was it Roger. Even though his grandfather's lawyer, he's still again objective. I'm going to say this again. It just makes sense, yes, because if you bring me on, I show what I can do. Or if you start me, I do well, and I believe I do well. And number shows I did well, and you don't reward performance. That's clearly what it is. There was a game where Christian Pulisic came on, did well. He wasn't rewarded for that. Got benched for subsequent games where even Raheem Sterling was as crap as horse doo-doo. Still played and nearly finished the games. You can say who again? Again, there are other players who's done quite well. He hasn't rewarded. It just doesn't make any sort of sense. He's creating. He's Broja. Yes, he's creating a problem for himself because these players do talk to each other. This thing can lead to discontent in the dressing room. You can say it happened to a certain measure under Thomas Tuchel. Now, if he's doing this, he's creating quite a lot of problem. It just doesn't make sense. These players will stop playing for him, even if he's a good manager, of which I still think, again, he's shown that he can be good, even though I still argue I'm not sure, again, where the process is leading us to. Even though I'm inclined to believe in the process because Chelsea is the entity I support, and whoever plays for Chelsea or becomes a manager, I have to support that person. So, but he's creating he's self-destructing, really. He's self-destructing.
This is why we were asking when he got the job, can he handle the egos in the dressing room? Because this is a big club, and it comes with egos. These players talk, and it's going to create problems. And if he came in and rewarded on meritocracy, and he said, if you did good, you keep on playing. And whoever is not doing good, you can fight for your position if I give you a chance. But right now, it's really kind of iffy because the players that he picked, yes, we got results, but some of them were putting up stinkers. I mean, Kai Havertz played bad games to a point where he played games until he got form. And it's good in a way, but for the players that were, sitting on the bench 24/7, they never got a chance. Pulisic being one of them, and Broja another. Yes, he does mistakes here and there, but you can see Broja's whenever he's being told to come on for like the next in the 68th minute, his head is a bit down.
If we're really experimenting, if we're really building for the future, if he has the leeway to make mistake and learn, he has to carry Broja along. He has to carry him along, play him, not minding the mistakes, not minding the experience of Aubameyang, still play him because we're stuck with him, really. Aubameyang lives in a year or two. That is if he lasts beyond the season, but go ahead.
Not only that, but you have a chance to cultivate and make him the striker that you want him to be. Like, Broja's young. Like, Broja is very young and is eager to learn. Like, you see it. Like, there's certain times where Broja, when he's playing, you can see it's just a matter of coaching because his talent is a bit raw. Because there's times where he's supposed to pass, where he's not passing. There's times where he's supposed to shoot when he's doing something that
which is common, which comes with his age.
Yes, 100%. And you as Potter, bro, you have like the world at your feet. You can coach, and he has that ability to become a Costa. You can see it. Every time he touches the ball, he's direct. He's more effective more than Oba in certain games. So, yeah, man, he's creating his own problems.
Yeah. Just quickly before I bring you in, let me catch up with this again. Potter should know. I want us to really talk about this question. When I'm ready to ask that question, I want to start with his lawyer. If you were to do a positive and negative point list on Potter, there would be a lot more negative points on the list. And I would love if someone can show the positives. One to me, because again, one thing stands out, but I'm going to highlight this if we're going to talk about it in a bit. And again, Ismail Musa, if you use that many caps, the machine will time you out. It's not a human being, it's a machine. It will time you out. So don't use too many caps and don't use more than 2 emojis. Again, so it doesn't time you out. Chelsea should sign, again, Nkunku, Casado, again, Alvarez, Vardiol, and bring back Dusan Starling to replace Aspi because he's, again, relatively good. And Reece James, yeah, I understand your argument there. Let's see what else we have again. And for people to forgive Potter, he must win at least one of the remaining games before World Cup, and those are actually tougher than the ones he's already played in the Premier League. Newcastle are well drilled, more physical than Arsenal, and the quick. Almiron has become prime Messi, really. I want to see again him use his emotional intelligence. It looks like he's using it the wrong way, really. He spoke about to use. I wonder again if he was looking at this again, his compensation package, and said, if I get sacked, again, I am good for retirement. Oh my God. It's always interesting to read people's arguments. That sounds like what Jose Mourinho would say, really. Again, we lost 1-0 to the best team in the Premier League, and Shea didn't even score in an open play. It's not all bad, peeps. No, it's not. I know we lost against one of the best teams, but we didn't play well enough to say it's not one of those games you can say we gave it all. We didn't. Tactically and otherwise, we didn't. Players plus manager, everybody got it all wrong. Tobago, come in before I bring the leader now, Tony, for your team.
With this comment, right? I hate not disrespect to Tob, right? It's the fact that it's Arsenal. You see, if it was City, I wouldn't even, we playing City next. If we get thrashed by City, it's like it's City. You get what I'm saying? But it's Arsenal. Like,
and we didn't see a fight from our players.
There was no fight. That's the problem we are having.
It didn't feel as a derby. It was like bottom table team playing again a top 4 team, because they could have scored more than 4 goals, really. And
it's sad because we were home, but we never played like we were home. Like the bridge was quiet. Yeah. Like there was a spell around like the 80th minute that lasted 2 minutes where the crowd was were with the players and we were creating chances. That's when Broja was on the field. And they were trying to create chances. They were moving forward. But that spell died out in less than 3 minutes. And I was like, what in the hell? You're going for an equalizer.
A lot of running. You have to tire out. It took them a lot of running to get that to even happen. Tobago, your choice before I bring in quickly. I'll come back to you in a bit, Ampero, if you don't mind. Tobago, Spirited, I'm waiting for you. I'll bring in the leader attorney for Graham Potter, then ask him one more question.
Yeah, today I wanted to speak peacefully, but again, someone is talking about something that Thomas Tuchel failed. Now it's Graham Potter's fault. He was talking about rewarding players for good performances. First player, Ziyech was playing well. Did Thomas Tuchel reward him? No.
Were people happy?
No, let me finish. Go
Coach. Ahead.
Kepa was playing well under Thomas Tuchel. Was he rewarded enough? No. Cool. Let's go there. Let's go to other players. In the midfielder, Loftus-Cheek, Jorginho, Kovacic. How many goals and assists do they have under Thomas Tuchel? So do you think Graham Potter will improve them? How many years?
What's your point in terms of rewarding performance? I want to understand what you're trying to say.
You guys are complaining. You guys are complaining about rewarding Pulisic's performances. Was Ziyech playing better under Thomas Tuchel?
Can I ask you this? Does Raheem Sterling deserve to start on over Pulisic from what we've seen, really? In all the games he started and stayed more than 100 minutes, if I'm allowed to phrase it like that. That's the argument.
Yes, I agree. I agree with you 100%. I don't agree with Graham Potter.
Look, but go ahead.
No. The point is saying Graham Potter didn't reward players, but Thomas Tuchel did the same thing also. So where are we going with this?
And people complained. I complained about Kepa. You know that. And I think you did. We complained about Ziyech, who was on form, scoring goals, assisting goals. He became even more physical, helping defensively. And Thomas Tuchel, boom, dropped into the bench and started playing players consistently who weren't performing, not even able to create chances. We complained. So I think you and I were actually saying the same thing. So
not only that, Tuchel had a tendency of setting players up. Like he knew that the fans wanted a certain player to play because of merit, but he would set them up in a situation where they cannot perform. Playing Ziyech in right wing back, where you know you're not going to get the best of Ziyech there. So yeah, there's that as well.
Yeah. Roger, go ahead. Your thoughts again. Let's start like this. You can touch everything you want to touch, but the whole thing is again. You can say the conversation and the feisty, you can say debate started with again the fear of playing against Man City. If we're being honest, given what we saw against Arsenal, how can we do things differently? You know, to get you can say an acceptable performance, acceptable result, of which I'm not sure it's never going to be acceptable result. It can still be a loss, and we still could say we played well.
Sure.
What can we do differently?
Yeah, I thought, and I should quote someone, I can't remember his name. Maybe his name was Coachilla, that said, had we played Jorginho in the midfield a couple of games ago when he wasn't played, we would have had more control of the game. And well, that we kind of played him yesterday for 90 minutes or 2 days ago, and I could have sworn at halftime I took a screen capture of the halftime statistics. We only had 38% of the ball. They had 62% of the ball. Now there's two phases of a game: when we have the ball and when we don't have the ball. Okay, you could say a third phase when the ball is out of bounds, but we're not going to go there. So when we had the ball, that was 38%. What did he do with it? He didn't change the game as you said he would a couple of weeks ago. Do you remember when he didn't play in a certain game? I forget which game it was, so I apologize. I could look it up. But didn't you say, had we played Jorginho, we would have been able to run the midfield? Well, we played 3 in midfield to assist him, 2 more people, not using a 4-2-3-1. So I'd like you to address that, if I may, Your Honor.
Yes, yeah. Good one there from you. Here's the thing. I think the pairing was the wrong one.
Yeah, no, I get it. I'm just being sarcastic, you know.
No, but I understand. But it raises a good argument. Sometimes you have to ask this sort of questions to someone to again for whoever Coach, that again you're referring to make a statement to make it make sense. To make it make sense, the pairing was wrong. Before the game started, we argued that Kovacic should have started that game because that game is tailor-made for him. He's the only guy that plays when we play against teams that will press us as aggressively as Arsenal did. But again, that's by the way. But my question is, what can we do differently to really be able to do well? Let me just say, do well against Man City. But to me, if you ask me, I'd say really that's a game we're going to lose really. But go ahead.
I mean, we could be fortuitous enough that they have an off game, and we're able to either, let's say, after extra time, we go to penalties, where they're just not clinical. They can have an off day, and we win on penalties. That's one scenario I can see happening. I could also see us losing 5-6-0. You know,
can you please just reduce the number a bit?
Being honest here.
Yo, Coach, this is why I was laughing. This is what he said.
This is a team that is playing with zero confidence. That yes, that they do have injury issues, and that is a factor. But you have to recognize the fact that I believe that it's the manager's, and you haven't really approached this or discussed this enough. That is the manager's responsibility to get the players up for a game to motivate them, and that doesn't seem to be the case. He hasn't lost the dressing room. I'm not insinuating that, but he is not motivating the team enough. He is choosing players not based on form, and that's indefensible. Do you understand? I understand you can play a player to maybe 2 or 3, 4 games to get them in form, but there are certain players like we have seen Pierre-Emerick play for us 10 times, give or take, 8, 9 times. And from what I've seen from his playing style, I don't think he's good enough to play for our team. I hope he turns it around and starts being clinical, but he doesn't have the legs. you know, as Rio Ferdinand showed on BT Sport, he's a defensive person. You know, he's an expert. He's a former professional player that knows how to analyze the game. And he reiterated what I've been saying for weeks. The defense starts from the front in today's modern game by pressing. You know, and that's not transpiring. You know, you look at Pierre-Emerick. He's nowhere close to any of the defensive players closing them down up front. Neither is Sterling. The only two people that I see it predominantly is Kai Havertz and Mason Mount when he's played in that position. There's no uniformity in when to press also. It's pointless when one person presses and the other two or three do not. It's pointless. You're wasting your energy. You're burning your fuel. And this is what's transpiring. So if I can see it, Rio Ferdinand reiterated this a couple of days ago. It's obvious. That's why they're able to pass through the midfield. When we had the ball in the back, in our defense, they were all over us. They played man-to-man tight. I'm talking tight. They were pressing us tight. When we tried to press, their radius of space was huge. And Rio Ferdinand showed that time and time again. That's why we went long, because we were pressed. You can't play a ball into someone, you know, close to your goalkeeper where they're marked man to man, literally on a person's shoulder. And this is what's transpired. We're not doing that to our opponents. And because Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang doesn't have the legs to do that. Neither, you know, that's why Ronaldo is an issue playing for Man U. He doesn't have the legs to press. Most experts discuss this week in, week out. Pundits, you know, ex-professional players. And it's the same with Sterling. He's not a very good presser. You know,
so now you're saying again, we have to start by again deploying players, because that's not even the only modern football. If again, it's important to start defending from the front, which is pressing really.
Yes.
And pressing strategically, and not just to run around 90 minutes without again just being strategic about it. You just tire out.
Judiciously.
So you're saying it's important that we press from the front against Man City?
It's going to be a death by 1,000 passes. Instead of the old adage, death by 1,000 cuts, the old Chinese proverb, it's death by 1,000 passes. They're going to pass us to death. I'm not sure what lineup Pep will use, and I have no idea what lineup we're going to use. Hopefully a combination of youth and seniority, but I think he's going to do what he did in the previous Premier League game to a certain extent. I think he's going to want to play our players into form, and I don't see that happening.
Into form for what game? Into form? Are Chelsea participate in the World Cup? That's what again. I'm talking
about the Newcastle game.
I understand. It just doesn't. They're playing them into form again. Yes, then. One thing you said, I'm not sure what he's going to do. Really.
Yeah,
nobody's sure what he's going to do. In the midfield area, what can he do differently?
Get Kante healthy. Listen, we've said this from day one. Under various managers, when Kante isn't playing, we look at different proposition altogether, completely coached. And yet alone, if we're missing,
and that's Reece, to be clear, no matter where you deploy him on the pitch, whether as one of the 2/8s, whether as one of the 2/60s, he's still his impact will be there. The opposition don't play again. You can say you can outplay us in the midfield area as long as he's on the pitch. That hardly happens. But go ahead.
Yeah. Also, Kova is a big factor. You're missing Kova. You know, he may not be healthy enough to play currently. Do you understand? The last week or so, you know, he's got a calf strain. You know, he's got a knee knock. You know, these things, it adds up. So it's simple as that. That he doesn't have the players that he wishes to select. Probably that's why. Also, you kept on stating that Koulibaly should have played. Well, Koulibaly was taken off after 63 or 64 minutes a couple of games ago and replaced with Silva, which I didn't want. But he had to because he's coming back after an injury or not. He missed a game or two, remember? So, you know, he doesn't have the full fitness of his squad. There's a lot of fortune. You look at 2 years ago when Liverpool were decimated. Every single commentator, every week, every pundit was saying, well, you have to take into account they're not at full strength. Well, you can say the same for us also. It's not an excuse. I'm just stating a fact. You can also say, yes, well, injuries is part of the game. But name me another team that are missing 4 to 5 starters and quality starters also. We're not talking about, a scrub. You're talking about Kante. You're talking about Reece. You're talking about Kovac. You're talking about Koulibaly. You're talking about Chilwell. Fofana, yes, but we're quite fortuitous enough to the fact that we have Chalobah, who's, I believe, equally, if not better than him, currently in their career paths. But you can say because of the rotation that's affecting Silva and Koulibaly that we don't have Fofana in the rotational mix. So all these things add up. Then you have to look at the fact that we're missing a certain Kepa Arrizabalaga, a very informed keeper. I'm not saying he would have helped us win yesterday.
No, I will accuse you the same thing you accused me of. You're probably thinking if he was on the pitch, we're gonna, that goal wouldn't have gone in. Go ahead.
No, I wouldn't say that because keepers get blamed so much for things when the people in front of them make the mistakes, but yet because he's the last person in defence, he gets the blame.
Overall, that was incessantly. Really, I was just kidding, and I know you know.
Yeah, I know that, but that's you have to understand. We were lucky that we only lost 1-0. In fact, Arsenal were lucky that we had a comedy of errors, because for all intents and purposes, we should have actually not conceded a goal. Arsenal were not clinical. They were actually having a poor game. They didn't look like their normal selves.
Can I just add
and we can say that about a lot of our opponents historically since Potter's taken over. We've been very lucky. It's been an underlying trend.
Roger, let me say this quickly.
Haven't been good.
Let me say this to you, bro. I love you, and I'm quite rightly I'm calling you Potter's lawyer. You went from talking about how we're going to approach the game to do well to making excuses for your client. So and Tobago was happy. He's so happy he had to even say something in the private chat saying my brother is here. Emperor, say what you want to say so that I can catch up with the chat and come back with the next question.
No, not excuses.
No, I just wanted to. I just wanted to add real quick, right? With the Kepa thing, he allows us to play out from the back because he's good on the feet. So whenever Arsenal were pressing us really good, he would have allowed us, to play in a manner in which it allows to stretch the field to give people space and open up space. Another thing, we only have one ball carrier in our team. This is why we miss him every time he's not there. Kovacic. He's the only person who links up front, right?
And why he didn't start, I don't know.
No, there's a reason. He's been injured, so you had to pick which game you have to play him in, and he also has to go to the World Cup as well. So, but that's the thing. This is my problem with Chelsea currently, is that we don't have enough personnel to finish the season, let alone the first half of the season. Because what Potter's experiencing right now happened to Tuchel last season. Literally, we were on top of the league, doing well.
Is he helping matters?
This is what I was saying, Coach. We were top of the league last season, doing well. A couple of injuries to our crucial players, and we are out. Like, every season, it has to be the same thing. This is what I'm bothered with. Why can't we not have...
Everything is down to that. Is Potter helping his case, really? Is it helping matters with his selection?
But that's the thing. I wouldn't, I don't want to defend Potter a lot, but my thing is, if you come into a club and you have X amount of players and you're trying to find out which players works where, how, I will give you a leeway for a certain couple of games. And he did that. To his credit, we won a lot of games throughout October, right?
The new manager bounce saved our bots.
You could say that, but majority of the time he had more of his players. Reece was still there. Kovac was not as injured. Like, he had majority of the squad. Yes, right now he doesn't have that, and it immediately falls apart. I saw the same thing happen to Tuchel. And this is not an excuse. Oh, sorry.
I'm going to come to you, DJ, quickly. Again, there's another question I want to start with Porter, but let me catch up with the chat quickly. I'll come to you. Get your thought again, whether you have a plan that we can lay out for Porter for us to maybe beat Man City, beat them like 3-0 at the Etihad. That would be great. But I'll come to you in a bit, DJ. Let's see what we have here again. It says again, we don't have the quality for top four and to eliminate City. I see us out of the cup on Wednesday. Again, unfortunately, I feel the same. That's probably the first time I'm agreeing already that we're going to lose a game. I know it's frustrating, but Potter needs time. We must again give him a summer to get the team he wants. Again, we need to trust the process. If anyone says Potter must leave, he doesn't want Chelsea to do it. Here's the thing: I'm going to say this again. I'm all for us having stability from a managerial perspective. And here's my argument for that. Again, we achieved quite a lot under Roman's reign, but those things came in patches. There's never been a time where we dominated the league or dominated Europe. Before that happens, at least we have to be stable in terms of from a managerial perspective. Keep a manager to build a team that will dominate for a while. But here's the thing again. Potter just has to take the process gradual. He doesn't have to be drastic about implementing the way he wants the game played. He has to recognize, be a bit pragmatic. Again, like in certain situation, the advice you get is follow the punch, and it won't hurt that much. But if you try to blow against the wind, you are in trouble. Just take it gradual. Thomas Tuchel did it. Conte did it. Take it gradual. Tuchel was able to achieve what he achieved with the team he picked up mid-season because he didn't try to approach to implement the way he likes to play drastically. He did it gradually. It's as simple as that. I'm all for the process, but we don't have to die in the process. As the process is during the process. We have to stay alive to see the process. The club has to make it to top four, even though it's a process. At least fight for it. Play better. We should play better against Arsenal. So something is wrong. Maybe it's not down to the manager alone. We saw a dispirited performance from our players. We didn't play it as if it was a derby. So which means the problems we started seeing under Thomas Tuchel still persist, which means the manager, Potter, can't solve it right now. That's why he should have done things differently, maybe. And again, plus this, and let me say this is the last time I'm going to say this, not rewarding performance is a big issue. It will cause dissent in the dressing room. And again, players do talk to each other. I'm going to come to again and talk a bit. We read too much into what people say. We read too much into what people say. Yeah, sometimes we do that. Again, especially the Twitter journalists. Why the management gave him 5 years contract? Because they want stability. And I'm all for it. I'm all for stability. But again, we don't have to die again during the process to achieving that stability. How would you feel if Chelsea finished 8th? Yeah, it will be heartbreaking and the banter will be too much. But I'd rather us finish 8th than us finishing where we get, again, like Rodrigo said, where we get a Europa League. It will be a serious distraction. I'd rather us finish 8th and then go into the next season. It's just the Premier League. Again, then we can do better, really. Roger, Jeff Fife was the best of the 3 midfielders on the day. Yep, and I know he accepted that.
That's without the ball. I'm talking about with the ball. There's 2 phases. You said last week.
That's the truth. Roger, you win.
So why didn't?
Go ahead, brother. But go ahead.
Why were we not able to control the game? This was my argument, my counter argument a few weeks ago. And you said, well, had we had Jorginho in there, we would be able to control the game with him. Well, guess what? We had him for 90 minutes and we didn't control the game. That was my point.
That's what I'm going to tell you too.
Leeds.
He can't do it alone.
He wasn't playing with the Leeds. Right, exactly.
A lot was wrong.
That's my whole point.
A lot was wrong.
Sorry?
A lot was wrong. Not just him. A lot of stuff wasn't. Again, the manager got it wrong. The pairing was wrong in the first place.
It's a collective. I agree. It's a collective.
Yeah, exactly.
What I'm trying to say. It's a collective. There's no.
But you win. I agree.
No, but it's not like Mendy had a faux part and the ball was put into the net. It's a collective. You can't say that you have to give most of the blame to the coach or most of the blame to the players. I think it's a collective. I think yes, the coach is responsible for selecting the players, formation, etc., and training sessions too, of course. Him and his staff, by the way. It's not just Potter, it's the whole collective. And he is responsible for hiring that staff. I get it. But also, it's the players that play once they step over that white line. You know?
Yeah.
The coach isn't responsible for Sterling missing a sitter last week.
No, he isn't. No. Missing 2 chances already.
But sorry, let me just quickly comment. But the manager is responsible for when the player is attempt 7 dribbles and completed only 1. It's his responsibility to take him out.
Yeah, probably he didn't see that. That's the concerning aspect.
So if somebody is missing, like Aubameyang, we might think is missing chances, but let's look at the style Aubameyang is used to playing with. He's used to playing with is in a 4-3-3. When he was in Barca, he had Ousmane Dembele or Ansu Fati or Rafinha on flanks with him. They press together and they create chances in the middle. But we don't have that. We have Sterling, who is supposed to operate from the right. From the last game, he was supposed to play from the right side. He couldn't complete 2 dribbles. So where would the chances come from? When he keeps missing the ball out of 6, he couldn't complete it. So where would the pressing come from? It's the pressing. When you're making runs and your player who is supposed to operate from the wing, who is supposed to spread the play and let the midfielders have space to operate from, he couldn't hold on to the ball to dribble, and then they dispossess him of the ball. Then again, they're attacking us. Then we expect Aubameyang to be coming out to come and defend again. Then when we get the ball again, you give it to the same Sterling, we were operating only from the right flank. If we had the balance of the Pulisic on this side, on the left side, and Sterling on the right, maybe if he was missing, we switched to Pulisic. Maybe Pulisic would have done better. Then Aubameyang would sit in the middle to tap in chances or whatever created. But there was nothing like that in the game. And Jorginho in the middle.
By the way, Pierre-Emerick only had 8 touches in that game, apparently.
Would you say it is his fault?
No, actually, the service was horrible.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was saying. That's exactly what I was saying. That the service, if we take Aubameyang, put him in the Man City team, this Man City team, put Aubameyang there, then we'll see the difference.
But what about when we don't have the ball? What about when he's pressing? He can't press.
Before time, Roger, we knew we weren't going to get that from him.
Yes.
If anybody says otherwise, that person is lying to themselves.
Which is why
and everything, we knew we weren't going to get that pressing from him, which was why during the pregame show, we're questioning that Broja should have been. Well, I think you raised that concern, Roger. Yes. You raised the concern of the lack of pressing up front. We called it, then we started questioning, okay, why isn't Broja started? But that's why we're here to preview the game against Manchester City, to talk about, again, what can we do differently? And it doesn't look like anybody here has the answer, really. Roger went from, again, talking about how poor we were, to defending his client, which I expected. But again, just one second, let me catch up with the chat. I'll come to you, Emperor. I know he said that, again, to me, he wasn't that good. Our midfield has been so bad that any basic performance from someone that has not played, we rate them. Yeah, the bar is so low. I think that should be the argument. That if you do better again a little more, then you're a genius. Again, a sudden outbreak, we're not allowed to say that on the show again. In the camp would have, again, the C word would have, again, wouldn't be the worst thing in the world right now. Yeah, let's go and ask, and I remember what you're talking about. Again, maybe get the games postponed. That's never going to happen as long as it's Chelsea. Again, Todd Bowley is about to put executive board considering of these people in place. Again, at Chelsea, Stuart Weber from Norwich City and Christian Christoph. Is that Christian or Christoph? Christian Viveri from RB Leipzig are in discussion to join Joe Shield. They've been in discussion since the last 30 years. Let them get it done already. And I'm tired of talking about it, I have to be honest. Ishmael Musa says, again, if we want to get better like we used to again, we must let these these guys go: Jorginho, Pulisic, Aspi, Kovacic, Kante, because he's a hospital guy now, not a player. Ziyech would be good to stay, but wow. Oh, okay, that's the complete opposite of what everyone else thinks. Yeah, but that's, by the way, big up to my brother CFC OG. Nice to see you, man. I hope you're doing well. Please, whenever you can, share the link to your channel so that people can just go and check it out. Again, big up the panel, man. Just at work, I understand, and thank you for joining. Starting use again and second team players gives a Porter an excuse to lose. He's not going to do that. I don't think he will do that. I think he understands it's Man City again. Probably the EFL Cup, but probably one of the, again, you could say, trophies we have a chance winning this season. Plus, if he wins Man City, if he beats Man City at the Etihad, is huge. That would change a lot of people's mind. Maybe not me, but you get that. So he would take it seriously. That's why the youth getting a chance. I don't know about that. We look stupid laughing at back and now at Barcelona. We can't even make top four with so much money spent. Yeah, that begs the question. After spending so much money for, again, a particular manager, you let him go. I think had they even explained to Thomas Tuchel, you're going to leave by the end of the season, we would have been better off, because clubs do that. And I think Chelsea have done that with certain managers. Let you know you're leaving by the end of the season. And I don't see any manager saying, okay, I'm leaving. Let me just run them to the ground. I don't see that happening. If you tell Thomas Tuchel that, he'll probably make it his best season before he leaves. And I believe he'll accept it, really. So, but we're not going to get into that. Emperor, you wanted to say something. Again, we're reviewing the game. What can we do differently to get a good result? Again, to get a good performance from the team, because I don't see us winning this one, really. But go ahead.
It's simple. Like, get it right on the team sheets. If you want to press, start Broja up front. And in beside of them, it's either Pulisic and Sterling, or Pulisic and Gallagher. And in that hole, you play Havertz or Mount. And Zakaria needs to start alongside Kovacic in that midfield pivot. You get balance, right? And the back four or whatever, the back five, you can, play around there. That's not a lot of confusion. The problem is with Potter, he likes doing a lot of things very quickly, too fast, and he forgot that these are not actually good technical players. And just to say again, people are getting on Sterling. I knew this was going to happen when he signed him. He's going to turn into a Werner, where he gets the opportunities, he doesn't put them away, he doesn't attempt dribbles again. It's because he's being played in a system where it doesn't allow him to be the best that he can be. And tomorrow, when we play City, we cannot afford to give him an inch, because they're going to slap us silly. Like, that midfield has to be tight. Even Ruben Loftus-Cheek, add him on into that midfield. It has to be tight, locked in. Rather give them width, because City with width, they don't do exactly as they don't spam crosses like they used to. Like, even though they have Haaland up front, they don't do that a lot. So give them width, and in the midfield, the passing lanes, just lock it up. But do not do a suicidal lineup where you have Azpilicueta, Jorginho, and Oba. Like, you just crying to get slapped. Because them men there.
Let me ask you quickly, in the absence of Jorginho, and given that Potter likes to play out from the back, and if Kepa isn't there, really, what can we do differently?
Absolutely, just play a pivot of Zakaria and Kovacic. Like, take your chances. I mean, there's one league game left, so just take your chances. Let's see what that happens. I mean, it's against City, the best side in the Prem, but do that rather, because we saw the presence alone of Zakaria in one game, what he does, right? Throw him in a City game and see if we can actually keep him in January or just let him go home. Because I see what they were saying when they talk about his fitness and stuff. He looked naked after 60 minutes, but 60 minutes of him putting in a shift like that and then playing him against City and he plays another shift like that, then I'm okay. Because that's a presence.
Even 35 minutes of it will go a long way.
Exactly. It nullifies City. And to nullify City is to nullify that midfield. We did that in the final. We did that in against one of the cups last season, and I think in the league where we beat them three times in a row, right? We nullified their midfield. We kept Kevin De Bruyne quiet and making that front three utterly useless. So that midfield battle has to be correct. That they have to have engine, energy, all of that. And then when we are probably winning 2-0, then you can throw in Jorginho for the sideway passes and control the game from there. But that's all. That's all
Sideway
Jorginho needs to be doing.
Roger will be
Chelsea
so
right
proud
now.
of you.
True, brother. It's true.
Yeah, just
But
quickly,
let's
let
be
me bring
honest.
you on, DJ. DJ, I know you haven't spoken, but
No, bro,
that's
it's
a
cool.
serious, again, a very important contribution there from Emperor. Again, we have to the whole thing. Beating City starts from the midfield usually, not the flanks. Plus a lot more work. Again, DJ coming to you, and before I
Yes,
do
bro.
that again, just
Yeah.
1 second. We look stupid laughing at again. Yeah, I've read this one,
Yeah.
and I didn't know Wenger was the coach of Chelsea Football Club. I'm just learning from WC. Again, yeah, but that's by the way. Again, DJ coming to you.
Yeah.
What do you expect again the manager to do differently for us to get a good performance? Because I'm not going to say good result really. I don't see that happening. If it happens, I'll take it. And what can we do? What should Potter do differently so we get a good performance out of the players the coming game? But I'm really concerned in the sense that if it's down to the players being dispirited, if it's down to what we're reading, we're starting to see rumors, even the likes of Kovacic wanting out of the club, which I still see that it's nonsense. If that's the truth, then even a lot of changes won't even make an impact in that game. But your thoughts, what can we do differently to get a good performance out of the players?
Yeah, listen, first of all, big up to everybody on the panel. Big up to everybody in the comment section. Thanks for having me on your show as always, brother. It's always great to be on here and listen to people's debates and discussions. It's great to get another insight from other Chelsea fans and fellow supporters on the comment section. But going back to what you were saying on the Kovacic situation, it's not a rumor, by the way, Kachilla. It's actually true. He's actually come out and he's actually come out and said that he's not happy about what's going on at the moment. I think it's more to the fact of the way things are going at the moment with us, the route that we're going down at the moment, and it's not just him. There are quite a lot of players at the club that are not happy, and it is a bit of a worrying factor because I'm talking about players and people. I know people are saying, "Oh, they get them out of my club." It's this and that, but some of these players you just cannot think about getting out of the football because I do believe they still got a long-term future at the football club. But in terms of cover, he's one of our important players. And if he was to leave our football club, I think it would be a big mistake. I think he brings energy to our midfield. I mean, he's loving life in London as it is, but he's just watching the way we're going. I mean, that game against going back to the Arsenal game, he was expected to start that Arsenal game. Now, people were talking about saying that he had a slight calf injury and he wanted to have a rest. Yeah, that might be the case, but he was still fit to start the game. And he didn't get the opportunity to start the game. And as you could see, we suffered in that midfield on that against Arsenal. Against Manchester City, I can see what's going to happen in that game tomorrow. He's going to bring he's going to bring the big guns back. You're going to see Koulibaly brought back. You're going to see Zakaria brought back into the team, possibly Kovacic back in the team. And then come Saturday, all those three players are going to be left out of the team. That's how it seems to be working with Graham Potter at the moment. This is one of the reasons why I have my slight doubts about him in terms of what he's doing with this team. Now I get people are saying we've got injuries, we've got to go with whatever we've got, but we've also got important games in front of us. Now the last thing we need to be doing is finishing before the World Cup even starts. Is finishing not even being at least 7th or 8th place. I want us to at least be. I think the most place we can go to is 5th spot if we beat Newcastle on Saturday. Which will be keeping us at the top 4 anyway.
So we won't even beat Newcastle. We won't even get it back into the top.
No,
4.
we'll be top 5. I think we'll be 5th or 6th, one of the two anyway.
We just need
depending on other results
to be close to top 4. But go ahead.
Basically, yeah. Going back to tomorrow's vital game. Look, the one light thing that comes out is people talk about youth players. I noticed there was one thing that came out yesterday. Omari Hutchinson. I mean, he was supposed to be going off to for Jamaica to go and play for Jamaica, But it looks like Chelsea has stopped him from going. He could be a talent that could come in tomorrow's game, maybe off the bench and maybe cause some problems. But what we need tomorrow is we do need some experience in that team tomorrow. The question is who's the question will be is what he will do with that. Will he go with the team that is going to be that, or is he just going to rely on the youngsters? Now people are saying Manchester City are going to go on youngsters. I can from what Pep Guardiola is selling in his press conference, he's still not certain if he's going to start Haaland tomorrow. I've got a feeling he's going to start Haaland tomorrow. That's my take on tomorrow's game, especially if he wants his cup. He'll probably start at least for the first 45 minutes. And if he scores a goal, he takes him off at half time. So we need to be careful of that. In terms of us, again, what can you do with that injury hit squad? Where do we go? He has to go with the right squad. He has to play the right players. And if it means some of the youth players, get a chance, give them that chance because they'll bring some energy at least to the team. But there are some players that also need to look at themselves as well. I mean, people were going on about Kai Havertz and Mason Mount against Arsenal the other day. I get they didn't play that great. But you tell me in that team, apart from Jorginho, Aspilicueta, and Chalobah and Silva, you name me any other good players that played in that team that day. None of them. And so they need to address this. And hopefully tomorrow he goes with a strong team tomorrow and we can beat Manchester City, because if we lose this game, as I said in my comments earlier on, if we get battered tomorrow and then we lose to Newcastle on Saturday, I do fear for his job come before the 5 years. I really do. And people think
I'm going to say this, DJ. Even if we lose against Man City,
we can't get battered, Coachella. That'll be embarrassing, bruv.
No, I'm saying, but we're going to lose anyway. That's how I see that one. This is the first time I'm coming out openly saying Chelsea are going to lose a game. Here's the thing. If we lose to Man City and lose to Newcastle, and if Man City beat us 3-0, I think his job is really still safe.
Sorry, bro? If we lose to Manchester City 3-0?
Yeah, and lose to Newcastle, it doesn't matter with what number. I think his job is still safe. I'm going to tell you that again. If you go check Ball's history, what he did with his late Dodgers, it took him 5 years to even start winning stuff, and that's where I'm concerned. Really, I'm seriously concerned. But let me ask you this, Roger, before I go to anyone. DJ, go ahead if you still have something to say.
Yeah, I was just going to say that you might be right in what you're saying, Nicola, but I will say one thing, which I've not seen at a Chelsea game for a long time. There were boos. There were big boos come the end of the whistle on Sunday.
No, it's not going to be for a long time.
No, but no. I'm saying I've not heard it.
Even if we lose the two remaining games.
What I'm saying is I've not heard that kind of thing that bad at Stamford Bridge like I did on Sunday come the end of the game. That's my point. It wasn't nice to hear it at the end of the game, whistle blowing and the fans booing, basically, because of the way we played. I think it was more referred to the players, but I think some were also, you could hear some people in the crowd were getting on Potter's back. I could hear it. You could hear the swearing in the background, some of the fans about Graham Potter.
Yeah, because unfortunately you were at the stadium to witness that.
Yeah. So once that starts, believe me, it's going to be patience is not going to be, especially with Chelsea fans. There is no patience, bruv. I think we've been in this game long enough to know Chelsea fans and patience, it doesn't go down too well with managers. We've seen that over the years of the sackings we've made. People talk about, it's Bowley, he won't do such a thing. But believe me, if the fans start getting on his back and start getting at the club, believe me, he'll have to start making a decision.
Here's where again, the fans, again, at dissent can cause a problem. Because the fans are the 12th man, no matter how you see it. If the fans start showing dissent, they don't like the performance, it trickles down to the players individually. It starts affecting them. If they're not getting the support, that could go the wrong way. Now, if that starts happening, that's when they will see the only option it will be to let the manager go. And it's difficult now in the sense that, again, they don't want to see themselves as they made a big mistake by letting Thomas Tuchel go. That's one. Two, again, another thing is, again, they still probably, they're numbers people, probably looked at numbers and believe maybe Potter is the guy. But DJ, I want to ask you this. Before they hired Potter, do you think, again, I heard people saying that he's not, again, he's not obliged to make it to top four. Do you think that's there's any measure of truth to that? I don't think so.
What he won't make top 4? Is that what people are saying?
That they can the requirement isn't to make top 4. I don't think so. That's missing like millions.
That for me will be sending out the wrong message altogether, because if that is the case, and he wants and look, listen, I've said it before. I'm not one of those ones who wants Potter gone. I really want him to succeed at Chelsea. I really do, because I think he has got the ingredients to do it. But if he's been literally told he doesn't need to make top 4, I mean, it's not going to go down with the Chelsea fan base, because if you're hearing now if you're hearing a lot of the outlets that are coming out, Chelsea TV fan cam, a lot of things that are ongoing in the community, they want top 4 at least. And I cannot see it for the like of me if he can't get that. I mean, maybe his only way of getting back into the Champions League is what Di Matteo did, a madness in 2012 and won the Champions League. Yeah. And then he finished like 8th spot or 10th spot. That could be, maybe then the fans may say, okay, fair enough, we didn't get top 4, but it'll still look bad. But we still won the Champions League over it. But then that's a big ask. That's a massive ask. Yeah.
Let me ask you this, DJ, before I go to Potter. What I want to ask is this. I know we don't have the best team in the league.
Yeah.
But don't you think we have good enough players to make it to the top 4 comfortably?
I think we do. I think we do, to Kachila. I think we really do. We've got. Let's not forget, we have got players that are out injured as well. Yeah, we got some vital players to our squad that are out.
No, even just count those players out. Don't you think we still have enough?
Just about. No. I'd say just about. But then if we get 1 or 2 more injuries, then no, I don't think we do. No.
Okay, let me catch up with the chat. I'll go to Potter's leading lawyer to get his thoughts. Again, he probably, I know already what he's going to tell me. Broja Zakaria, CDM, Kovacic as the playmaker, Conor Gallagher, box to box, Gloria, centre forward, Pulisic on the left, Omari Hutchinson on the right, a 4-3-3. That's a good, you could say good shout there. Again, we cannot just take people out if they miss dribbles or chances. But when it's too much, really, believe me, Carlo Ancelotti will take you out after the 3rd one. Believe me, or just say stop dribbling, stop attempting to dribble, really. But here's the thing. Again, here's where Raheem Sterling's case is very different. Again, is that in how many games on the road? This is not just the only game. It has happened 1, 2, 3. This is probably the 5th game. Let's just again, to be honest, let me just pull out, not just be pulling out numbers out of my wazoo. Let's just say at least 3 games. After the first one, the second one, and the 3rd one is still happening. To me, if I was the manager, it would take just the 2 missed dribbles he missed to say, please come off, really. But yeah, I get your argument, really. It doesn't work like that. I'm concerned, again, you don't have patience. You think I don't have patience? I'm just being factual, really. I'm just saying it as I see it. I was one of those that called for him to be the next manager. I was one of those that liked the way, again, he drilled his Brighton team. But to me, it's occurring to me right now that maybe the only thing he's good at is just getting teams to play as a unit. Beyond that, not capable of, again, countering other managers' a tactical approach in the game. He's unpredictable, which I like in managers. But here's the thing, I hope he proves me wrong, really. I'm not saying out yet. And like somebody argued yesterday, if we really want a manager to build a team, take time to build a team, it is this type of manager. But again, the issue is really deep. I'm starting to question, again, the truth remains, it may not just be about, he may not just be the problem, the only issue here. Players are, clearly, let me just say may not. They are the part of the huge issue we're facing here. If Potter gets, again, his tactics are spot on and the team performs to the best of their ability, we should be able to keep the scoreline down to just 2-0. I hope, again, I'm going to pay attention to performance. The numbers don't really matter. If you see the fight, then, again, I'm okay with it. The team is not balanced. TT tried, but, again, it started to show. He tried his best, but nobody was paying attention. Again, if he's told he doesn't have to make a top 4, that's just nonsense. I don't think we shouldn't actually believe that, really. So it makes sense. We're not, what we think we are. The team is not good enough or balanced. How many again, coaches do we need to go through? And then again, more importantly, I have to say this: as much as I don't think we have the best team, we should be doing better than we're doing right now. Let me go to the leading Porter's again, leading lawyer. Roger, your thought. Do you think, again, you can say, let me just get this from you first of all, we should be doing better than we're doing right now. And do you think we're good enough to make it into top four?
No, currently not right now.
Why?
I think a multitude of reasons, a plethora of reasons, if you will.
Yeah, I hope you guys are hearing the English of a lawyer, really. But go ahead.
No, but let's be serious here. Injuries are part of the game. That aside, we're not balanced enough. I think it's going to take time to transition and for Potter to put his, shall we say, philosophy / ethos across. It's not going to happen overnight. And as for you quoting that Burley with the LA Dodgers took 5 years to succeed, I've lived in the States for half my life, virtually all my adult life, and it's a very different sport, and it's a very different culture there. Sporting culture, I'm talking about. You're looking.
There's no relegation there. Again, there's no getting
it's completely different. It's a completely different setup altogether. In fact, most Americans cannot relate to the European football system set up here. They find it very alien to them, and vice versa too. So, which is mutually understandable. But I don't think the fan base that you're talking about, a fan base and a team that is exclusive in London with its success rate over basically this whole century. Prior to even us being taken over by Abramovich, we were winning trophies and getting into the Champions League prior to him. So this is a club that has had a consistent, 19 years, 19 trophies under Abramovich. You know, that's substantial. I don't think this fan base will accept such a, shall we say, demise as such with regards to its winning pedigree. That would not go over. DJ is right. The boos, they will be deafening in 6 months to a year to 2 years' time, and we are playing like this. He won't last that long period. He's going to have to make top four or miss very close like Arsenal did. It'll have to be close without winning any silverware. So, and then next year he'll be expected to be top four. There will be no excuses for that, I believe. And if that isn't the case, then you'll see the fan base that there will be huge disappointment. Can I ask DJ a question quickly? From the TV, it sounded like the Chelsea crowd was so quiet for 90% of the game, and the Arsenal sounded like
mate.
Is that the case? Last time I went to the Chelsea game was the Liverpool versus Liverpool at Stamford Bridge, and boy, the silence was deafening.
Do you know what, Roger? You've hit the nail right on the head there, bro, when you say that, because from the kickoff, right from the beginning of the kickoff,
it's noticeable.
It was the Arsenal fans starting to make all the noise in the background. It reminded me of the game on Wednesday. If you watch the game on Wednesday, I didn't get a chance to go and watch the Champions League game on Wednesday. It was more their fans making more noise than our fans in the stadium.
AC Milan game, right?
No. The Dynamo Zagreb game. The drum banging.
Something else. The AC Milan game too. Go ahead.
And it worries me when we have that, because people go on about saying we're a library, at Stamford Bridge, and I don't like it used. I don't like that being used, right? Because when the crowd is buzzing, especially on Champions League nights, generally the crowd is buzzing. The flags are there. You're there on the stand. You're crowding your team on. It's big up, but. On Wednesday, I wasn't at the game, but I know some friends of mine, my dad and my brother went to the game, and they were saying to me, the crowd deafening on that game that day was just, the crowd was just not with it. It was all you could see the Zagreb fans all day long until we got our 2 goals. And then after that, it was kind of like we started making some noise, and then it was like, more them in the background. They were enjoying their day out in London,
especially with that drum. Right.
And then again on Sunday against Arsenal, it was more or less the same kind of like thing. It was like you could hear the Arsenal fans again, more noise than Chelsea fans. And then and it always goes to the thing when Arsenal started the game. Well, let's be honest, Arsenal started the game on the front foot. Yeah, they were the ones doing all the attacking. They were the ones doing all the what do you call it, right? And the minute that starts happening, the fans are just quiet, And then eventually we started making some noise. Oh, you'll never win. We won the Champions of Europe. You're never going to win. You're never going to see this. All crowd singing, all that kind of thing. But the bottom line is it was Arsenal. It was Arsenal fans making that. They're the ones that wanted it more. They obviously upped their team more, and they went and got they played. Obviously, they didn't play that great, but they did have the clear cut chances, and they ended up winning the game.
But this is where my criticism of going to the bridge is. You'll never hear that at, let's say, Newcastle, or let's say City, or United, or Liverpool. Oh, the top end? Are you kidding me? It's deafening. That never occurs. That never.
Unfortunately, the behavior of the Chelsea fans in the stadium will not change until there's an increase in capacity to accommodate more people.
It's like 44,000, right?
Here's why I'm saying that. Even if they sometimes do well, but for the behavior to change, there could be again. I don't know. I haven't done my research to know what really the problem is because it didn't start today. There maybe have to be a generational change to season to some measure season ticket holders, or maybe a mix of more people. Again, to those which will need an increase in capacity.
Do you know one of the loudest places in London to go is Selhurst Park? What is it? A capacity of 16,000. It's deafening. I mean, it puts us to shame.
Can I just say something? Can I just say something?
Go ahead, Emperor.
Yeah.
It hasn't been the bridge, and this is for me watching all the way from South Africa or on the TV. The bridge is the bridge when. As the guy said, in the Champions League night, you can hear it over the TV. This is the bridge, and it makes it difficult to play there. But it hasn't been like that for a season now. It's the football that we are playing right now. It doesn't allow the fans to be excited for anything. Every game when we attack. I don't know who bangs. Okay, I just want to shout out the person who bangs the board at the bridge every time we attack lethally, and you can hear it, and then it starts chanting "Charles say, Charles say." You can hear the aura around the bridge that this is the bridge. It's bouncing, and we are not going to let you come in here and take 3 points. But it hasn't been like that. I don't know if you feel the same, but it hasn't been like that for the past. I don't know, a season now. The bridge hasn't felt like the bridge, and you can check the home record. We've been poor at home. We people come in here and just take 3 points. They win, they knock out us of cups. It's really sad right now for Chelsea. We have a lot of problems. And just to add on the point where I don't think he can afford to lose today and Newcastle. Again, Chelsea fans, we are not a very accommodating bunch. We are used to winning, and the minute it starts going wrong, we attach the previous performance to the previous performance. We create a strain, and remember there's a World Cup coming in, so the noise is going to get louder during the World Cup, and they will probably be thinking we can actually get somebody in right now who can actually implement a style until the game starts, the Premier League gets back. So I don't think he can afford to lose both games. I don't know.
Yeah. Unfortunately. I'm going to catch up with the chat, come back to the panel. I think we should try again, even though it would just be, again, good luck to us, again, correctly predicting who starts for Graham Potter, because we still have, I think we have time enough to correctly we're just going to no voting from those in the chat, but we'll get their opinion anyway, one way or the other. By the time this 5 years process is over, London will no longer be blue. Let that sink in. Again, if we'll have to wait for 5 years, the Arsenal fans mixed in with the home fans in the Western stand were making more noise let's be real. Yep. And I think everybody here accepts that. Away fans are always the loudest. Even our away support, Arsenal, home fans have been slated for being so quiet. Okay, maybe that's the case. Big up to you too, Just Fiala. Thank you so much for finding the time to join the show. I appreciate that. Let's see what we have here. Anything else to address? Again, it says, again, a very hard, again, for fans to be excited. Again, I think Empiro said that correctly. Again, to be excited when they pay big money and get that rubbish football served up. You can argue that, and DJ, I feel sorry for you. Again, even if we don't win, he will not be sacked. That's the truth. I think he will still be at the club again after World Cup. Then again, they'll be paying close attention then, especially if they sign more players. If we're able to sign more players, then that's fine. Again, even Nkunku, I'm hearing is having a change, waiting for Real Madrid to come, which again we argued here on this panel that it's not done and dusted, and I don't blame him.
No,
I don't
definitely
blame him.
not. Definitely not, Kuchela. That, and again, you've hit the nail on the head again about the Nkunku situation. That I've heard that as well. He's now. I think now, he said yes. Obviously, he would like to come to Chelsea. There's no doubts about that. He would love to come to Chelsea. But if we're going to play the way we're playing, if we don't even finish in the top 4, I cannot see that happening. And he's only relying on Champions League football for that to happen as well. So if that doesn't happen, he won't come. And just interesting to go back to what we were talking about, the crowd situation. Generally, I don't know if you guys can remember with our managers that we previously had. Jose Mourinho, Thomas Tuchel. Who else can I go back to? The louder managers. Not even Carl Ancelotti, but he's still got a thing from the crowd, even though he's a quiet manager. But I think when you see, obviously Conte, when you see your managers being vocal as well and upping the fans to make noise, that kind of like sets a stuff for the fans as well. But when you're having a manager, it's just kind of like standing there with his arms folded, sitting on the stand, talking to his right-hand man on the side, just chatting there, thinking whatever you're talking about. It doesn't really base and go down well with the player. You're looking at it and you're thinking, what are you discussing, mate? What is going on? I just think, I think with Graham Potter, I think he needs to be given the chance. I think he will be given the chance, but I think he just needs to be a little bit more vocal and he needs to show that. And once you show that to the players on the pitch, you're showing a bit more ruthlessness in your decisions and the way and what you're coming across. The players will start taking notice of it. At the moment, the players are thinking up and looking at themselves, thinking, "What are we doing here?" I mean, how many times I said that day against Arsenal, you guys are going on about Raheem Sterling. Okay, how many times the guy was looking up the other day, trying to look for a pass, looking for something to go and pass the ball to, and he ended up passing sideways and backwards. I mean, again, you can't keep saying this is all on the play. It's not all on the. Sometimes you've also got to look at what's going on in the man. The manager's got to start barking out instructions. And look, listen, I hope he does get it well. But like we said, I cannot see the fans for the life of me having putting up with much of it because it happens.
Something you said then that Emperor talked about already. He's not proactive. In this case, he's not even. Again, sometimes. To be as a manager, being reactionary is good. Again, in the sense, if you can react quickly to a situation, that's fine.
Give me an example.
But him, it takes him for let's say, to a certain measure. Let me just phrase it that way. It takes him too long to react to a situation, really.
I think it's faster than Tuchel.
Sorry?
I think he reacts faster than Tuchel.
You think?
In terms of changes?
In terms of, no, I don't think so. In terms of changes, I think it's actually worse than Tuchel, really. But we get to that in another time. Here's the thing I want to say quickly again. Even if we don't win, he will not be sacked, like I said. But again, let me just get what we have in the chat, and we get to talking about we'll talk about the lineup, or maybe there's one more question I want to ask, but I'm measuring time, so we don't run out of time without selecting the lineup here. Again, let him not come. We need players for the team, not individuals who want to keep their record. Here's the thing: it's business for everyone involved. Nkunku wants to play Champions League football. Chelsea wants him. Maybe we can only convince him by paying him more money. And the rest assured, Real Madrid will try, because they made a lot of signing. But their signings were all in the midfield area. They probably need reinforcements in the attacking area. And that's why I think they'll probably come for him, if what we're hearing is the truth. Exactly.
They're going for Endrick. They're going for Endrick, Coachella.
Yeah. They're going for
Real
him to
Madrid-
again. That's the type of
Real Madrid all out
signing they
Endrick.
want to. Yeah. So again, exactly,
stand a
Jesus.
chance?
Sorry.
Do we stand a chance of getting Hendrick?
I don't think so. Not
It's
this
everything
moment
is
in
about
time.
money. If we can promise him more salary, maybe he comes to us. Everything is about money. But that's the only thing.
What is he,
He's
16 right
first of
now,
all, he's
right?
South American.
Yeah, I
He's
know.
South
They speak
American,
Spanish.
specifically Brazil. They always dream of playing for Real Madrid or
Yeah.
Barcelona. So for us to convince him to come to us, it has to take some. We have to again, you could say, employ some extraordinary measures, such as paying him more.
Sorry, Coach. Can I just quickly just make a few points? I just want to quickly step out, and I'll be back in a few minutes.
Yeah, go ahead, brother. And I was going to ask you, do you think we're good enough actually to make it to top 4 before we continue? Sorry, I didn't even remember.
No.
I'm on my screen. Something is covering you. Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. Just on what DJ talked about, Kovacic wanting to leave the club. I mean, we shouldn't be surprised. It's not Kovacic. If he's saying he's leaving the club, I don't think it's purely based on the fact that he's not getting game time. But I mean, these players are human. They see what happens. They are players. The coaches are only just being managers who take decisions based on selection and all. But these players see. They know who is supposed to be playing and who is supposed not to be playing. So if he's making this decision,
some delicious point there. They don't even need to talk each other to recognize that.
That's exactly what. Yeah, exactly. So if they are seeing all this happening and they are not happy, oh, this guy shouldn't be playing and he's playing ahead of this, and this should be solved and it's not being solved and it's left on the pitch for this long, and others are not playing at all, and they see this happening. So he will think, oh, this future with this manager is not for me. So he might think, oh, agitate for move, and I want to leave. And if we continue this way, I'm sorry, we're not going to make top 4. We're not going to make top 4. If he's going to continue this way, no matter the signings we make in January, I can say that we're not going to make top 4. See, there are other teams we are chasing now. Newcastle, I can tell you now that we're going to lose that game against Newcastle. We're going to lose that game against Newcastle. Like I say, as much as I don't like saying this against Chelsea Football Club, I'm always this. Sometimes I go, even if we're playing the best team in the world, I still want to say, oh, Chelsea's going to win. But I must be open here and say, we are not likely to win any more games going to before the break. And coming back after the break, it's going to be a lot of games together. And we're going to think of the transfer window we're going to sign and all. So I don't see any way, except this manager shows that he's got guts. He's got the mind to be able to say, oh, based on a performance, I'm going to reward you. If you're not playing well, I'm going to take you out of the... Not going based on, oh, I want to leave out this player and other players are saying it and they're not... Even, I said it the other day when we were watching this game, that even if we sign Leao, I won't be surprised if Leao is on the bench for Sterling. That's how bad it's going to look. So we see Nkunku having a change of heart. He must have been studying everything happening in Chelsea. Oh, this manager has got 5 years contract and he's not playing based on performance. He's not picking players based on performance. Am I going to go into this scenario? Am I going to find myself in this kind of team where I think I'll be better than someone, but because the manager decides, and whatever the manager says, that's it. The only person that can change the manager is the owner. The players can't change the manager. They can only just down tools or they don't want to play very well for it, but they can't change the manager except the owners decide. And if the owners back the manager, then the player will say, no, there's no point for me finding myself in this kind of football club. They're not rewarding performance. So there's a lot of things we have to discuss and know that if Kovacic is saying this, we look at the stats. If we look at the since Potter came, he's been playing and he's been playing well. So if we think that they are not rewarding somebody and he's coming out to say, I want to leave, I don't think it's based on himself. It's based on what they are saying and what they discuss. Because some of them will have their clique, they have their people who talk to and talk about, oh, what's happening, and we're not happy about it. And it might not be him alone in this kind of situation. There are many other people that will come out and say they want to leave as well if he continues this way.
But what I will say, though, is that Chelsea are in talks with Kovacic of extending his contract. That's not
so
a lie.
That situation
there is still that as well.
Change. Yeah,
that
could change.
Well, yeah, he's still. This is the thing. The thing of all is, he said that, but there have been talks that he wants to extend his contract at Chelsea, right? But I think like we've said already, I keep saying this as well. The club is more important. I always say the club is more important than the players, yeah, because your players will come and go, right? Yeah, but your club is more important. It's what the club is at the end of the day, and you want players to be playing for your football club. Now, Kovacic, I think, for me personally, don't think, despite all the rumor, and he's true what he said he's true. He wants. I don't think he will go. I think he will sign his new contract. I just think
show in his behavior. Whenever he's on the pitch, he gives 100%.
That's what I was about to say. Yeah, and the other thing I was also going to say is I think exactly. And I think the other thing we've also got to say is Chelsea fans have also got to take into consideration is we've also got to lower our expectations for the transfer window, because the players that we think we want to attract and bring in, the big names like Nkuku, Liao, and players like that, we may have to lower our expectations now and go for other players like the younger players. I mean, there's the talk of the young midfielder from the Portuguese midfielder from Benfica, who's been linked with us as well as a possibility of a midfielder if we do not get our targets that we want come January.
Do you think we keep Kante?
I think Kante, for me, that's another decision that's going to be made by the. I think that's going to be a big decision made by the club in the summer.
Jorginho?
I think I've got a feeling one of those two. For Jorginho, Jorginho wants for Jorginho to stay. He's talking about he wants more money.
He's talking about right?
Double, yeah, literally. And I don't know whether Todd Bowley's going to want to consortium want to give him that kind of money for the age that he's at. So you're looking at players that possibly like Alvarez, possibly coming in from Ajax. Maybe is that midfielder to come into Chelsea. You might have
the Mexican guy.
Yeah, the one, and then you might have this Portuguese midfielder coming in from Benfica as well. But then don't forget, you've also got players. Let's not forget, we've also got younger players that we've signed already. You've got the Italian kid that we signed who's playing in the youth play, who's also playing in our youth ranks that we signed from Inter Milan.
How do you pronounce his name again?
Cazadei. Yeah, Cazadei. And then you've also got the Chukwuemeka, who's also to come in as well in that midfield. So you have got some players already there that they're going to try and obviously use.
He's really a number 8, isn't he?
He is, yeah. The most he can do from a different position would be the cover 6 role.
Sorry, coach. I'll be back in a few minutes, yeah?
All right, no problem, Mehdi. Go ahead, DJ.
Yeah,
and DJ, when you get a chance, share the link. Again, let me just do it for you. Roger is asking your Twitter handle so that you guys can team up and keep defending Potter and maybe Raheem Sterling.
Defending Graham Potter. Oh, God.
Go ahead,
Actually,
DJ.
I should be hiring DJ as my attorney.
No, mate. No, just big up to Liam Lane's comments, by the way, and big up to them. What he's saying about what Romano is saying. Chelsea have a bigger chance of getting all. It's true. That is where we're going to. Yeah, what Fabrizio Romano's come out and said about the younger players. That's what we're looking. That's the market we're going to be visiting more in at least in the next year or so. We're going to get the odd superstar player here and there, but it's not going to be big names like it used to be. Like we used to do before. Sign Cavallo, then we sign Nessia, and then we sign Drogba. We sign all these kind of players. It's not going to be like it used to be before. These are. We're going to be going. Oh, mate, tell me about it.
That's better. I would rather. I would rather we do that for the long term, properly build the squad, than just buy Nkunku here. We buy big names there, Rafael Leao. Rather take that money. Yes, I know those players are really good. Take that money and reinvest properly into the squad so we get a balanced squad. We really need that at Chelsea right now.
Yeah, agreed.
We do need a balanced squad indeed. So, DJ, thank you for that. Again, I will listen to a lot of arguments. Yes, Liam Lane fighting us, blaming the fans. So a lot of arguments, but I won't accept, again, the fans being the users and excuse. It wasn't me. It was DJ and Roger, two of them, Graham Potter's lawyers.
I'm me Potter's lawyer. I'm not Potter's lawyer. I think that's more what's his name? Roger's job.
Goodness.
My lawyer left. My client left the football club last season, Coachella.
Yeah, I know. Again, if you're watching, if you haven't, take a second to drop a like on the stream. We're at 41 likes, and the poll we had 101 votes. I don't know how that is possible. The votes get more interaction than again. It takes a second to drop a like on the stream too. Please, if you haven't. If you participated on the poll, it takes just half a second to like the video to help us reach more people. Liam Lane says, Romano said again, Chelsea have a big chance of getting all the young players before, again, because of the length of the contract that they are given, which is why we want the battle for all the young stars. You can say, and also a promise, again, of them getting a chance to play. But I'm not sure if we pay that much money for Endrick, probably he starts. But at Madrid, no matter how much they pay for, usually they take it gradually. But now, as bad as that team, again, I think he'd get game time, really. He's that good. Again, if we have all those young players starting, Casadei, Chukwemeka, if they have them starting, then I can say, yeah, again, we have a project here, and I'm all for the process. But if we have this big, should I call them goons or whatever, earning how much they're earning, and they're capable of getting us into the top 4, I expect more. If I have those young players starting, giving Broja opportunity, tell me it's a process, I'm patient. But if you tell me it's a process, Broja didn't get to play against Zagreb, not against Arsenal, where pressing is important, at least I agree. I and the Graham Potter leading lawyer agree on that one, that pressing is important up front. He didn't even start.
Leading lawyer.
Yeah.
Just a question.
Dream team.
Roger, bro. You're leading lawyer, bro.
Bro.
Yes, please like and subscribe. So, what are you going to say, Emperor?
Oh, man.
To the Potter lawyers. I already the Potter lawyers. Is the question?
No, they have one more lawyer. IPC is another Potter lawyer.
I'm not his lawyer.
So
I'm not
we're
his lawyer.
numbers. But go ahead.
I'm Kai Havertz. I'm Kai Havertz's lawyer.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and gradually you're considering representing Lorraine Sterling too. I'm hearing that from you. That's where you're gonna have the issue with Rodgers. Go ahead, Emperor, ask your question. Maybe IBC takes that question. Go ahead, then we could go into building the lineup.
With all the young players that we are going to have, which I love the idea of, right? Can Potter be the guy to cultivate these young players? That's the question. Because it's all good to have these young players, but is Potter that guy in terms of? I love Potter. He has glimpses of showing like good football and all of that. But can he like cultivate these young players and sell the dream to these young players that listen, under me, we're gonna be, an Ajax emerging type of team where you have all these great young players that are doing bits in the Champions League and trying to win trophies, etc., etc. So that's the question. Can Potter cultivate these young players? Because right now, I would think he would do the same for a Broja. I think he would probably focus more on the Chukwumekas, the Brojas, all these young players, and trying to implement
the big money young signings.
Yes, so I would say he would, focus more on that. But clearly, right now, maybe the ego thing is getting to him in terms of the big money contract players. So can he, have that authority to do that? Because at Chelsea, we know that players die. Like
I be over to you. And big up, brother. I hope you're doing well.
Oh no, sorry. Oh, hello guys. I didn't see you guys there. I didn't think I thought Mama was still talking.
Big up, mate.
Sorry,
big up.
man. Big up,
no,
man.
No worries, bro. You're good.
Hello.
I know you're probably at work.
I swear to God, you already know. What was the hypothesis? What was it? Sorry. What was?
Oh, now
what
we're
was
going scientific now. But Emperor, you guys are not going to kill me on the spot out. We're talking football now. He's going scientific. I'm not good at it. You go, Emperor. You ask your question directly. So now that IBC is listening.
I was asking, does Potter, and sorry, I'm eating now. Does Potter have the ability to cultivate the young players? Because you would think you would be doing it with the current squad we have right now.
Yeah, why not? What gives you a reason what gives you an inkling that he doesn't? Or
has he done that? Has he done that with what he has? Has he?
What suggests that he won't?
He hasn't. For instance, Broja did start against Zagreb, and he did start against Arsenal.
Yeah, Broja's not the epitome of
after scoring a goal, he didn't reward him with a start the next game, for instance. But go ahead.
I hear that. It's all arguable to what he has at his disposal, and if players are fit enough and what have you. But the question in general, would he give the youngsters at the club a chance, or why not? Why wouldn't he not? I don't see a reason why he wouldn't. I don't see a reason again why he would. It's 50-50. It's too early to judge. What I will say is that he has signs of giving youngsters a chance, or if you want to look back at Brighton, the ethos there was getting them young, developing them. He has that in his locker. Again, there's no history or CV to say that Potter, this is a type of Potter play, or this is his definitive way. We've only seen him at Sweden, Swansea, and Brighton. So what type of player or what type of way he does it will be at Chelsea. We'll see everything. We'll see if he uses youngsters. If he doesn't use youngsters, he will learn on the job here. Everything's here for him. Top players, youngsters. Obviously, the form right now will argue that we're not good enough. But generally, in compared to Brighton or wherever he's been, this is where he will learn to use young players that are good enough from the academy to break into the first team. He will be with star players who are more than ready enough for first team football. So it's all a learning curve for him. I believe that he can. I don't believe he won't. He doesn't strike me as the person. He doesn't strike me as a less progressive manager. He strikes me as someone that's progressive. So you will see improvement. You'll develop players, but that will have to take its time. See, right now it's very blurred. Right now to give those type of definitive opinions on that, because obviously it's not his players. He's got to get results with a current set of squad he's inherited. So it's a bit hard to put him there. But if I would just look at it, I would say that, you know what, moving forward, I see the likes of Omari Hutchinson and all them, and they getting first team football under Graham Potter. I really believe so.
Let me ask you this quickly before we go into the lineup selection. Being honest, do you think we should be doing better than we're doing now? Just don't, again, forget about the injuries. Just what we have available. Do you think we should be doing better than we're doing now?
All right. If you're going to ask yourself that question, you're going to have to assess what your other mates are doing to make themselves, what your mates are doing to make themselves better. So what are Liverpool, what are Tottenham, or what are Arsenal doing to make themselves better? And you compare yourselves to them and say, are you doing what they are doing to get to where you want to get to? And when you analyze that, you see that. That's why I analyzed it in the summer. I said to myself, let me just let me just not be biased, and because it's not Chelsea's Premier League, it is the Premier League. So let me just be realistic.
Yeah, it's not a given.
So let me be realistically honest with myself and see how are my opponents doing and how we are doing. I looked at my other opponents and I saw that they were making changes to their personnel to either increase the playing numbers, have more options, or add more quality to the squad. And I looked at us and I didn't see that we were doing it. I'm not saying that we can't do it, or because we didn't do it, we will never be there. But we didn't prepare enough as in comparison to other of our teams. We didn't. I'm sorry. Obviously, results are results, innit? Results change. But when you talk about preparation, everybody in front, I will include Manchester United, everybody in the top six prepared more than us this season. And that's fine because we had excuses. We had a takeover that kind of came in late. Yes, exactly. We had a takeover that came in late. So all things in place to make sure playing personnel are ready for pre-season was halted. It was probably halted by a month or so. While Arsenal and what have you and Tottenham were, even Aston Villa before the ending of the season, while they were making signings, we were still under sanctions, mate. So we have to understand that these things will hinder us in our preparation. Cool. So it's hindered us in our preparation. We are there now. We signed players, but it's kind of late. Players are coming in during pre-season. We got players signing and flying to America to join up with the squad. Whilst my opponents have players that already joined up with the squad and flew with them during pre-season, albeit 5 of them. So the cohesion, the chemistry, the know-how is already there ahead of us. So when it comes to us, this is just the bearing the fruits of what we are. I'm not saying individually we're rubbish. No. But collectively, coach, as a squad, we are not good enough. And it's not because of this person is rubbish and that person is injured, and it's just as a team, as a unit, we don't have people that will replace certain individuals. Exactly, we are in the same spot we were last season. I mean, even ABC would have taught you that if I don't want to be here if I don't want to be in the same position I was last year, I have to accommodate for what was a loss. So Reece James and Ben Chilwell were very, very instrumental in the goals we were receiving last year. If they're not about this year, we're going to still have the same problems we did last year, probably even worse. Why? Because other teams are prepared enough to not make sure they're in the same spot, whilst we haven't. We've digressed. So yeah, we are where we are. And it's not because of Potter or the player. It's just the building of the squad has been very, very poor this summer. And obviously in January we're going to be chasing our losses. Now in January we're going to go in for more players. Obviously the premium may be higher. It will be a bit hard because we are talking about mid-season where respective clubs will have their ambitions to Champions League, domestic leagues, what have you. So to go and get a player just for the sake of, oh, we need you now for our season to save our season, won't be as easy as it will be in the summer. So we have to accept where we are and accept it's going to be a long road ahead this season. Do I think we're going to get top 4? It will be a bloody miracle. I tell you that for free. That is my miracle. But I know we're Chelsea and I know that we have pride in the squad, innit? So the squad players won't be like, after a while, they'll think, hang on, am I an idiot? I know what I've achieved, so I'm going to put in work. It will go off Potter's hands, and these players will turn up themselves, and then you will see results come. But it will be reactionary as opposed to just an accustomed. You know what I'm trying to say? So I believe that top 7, top 6, that's where we will be. But top 4? Oh, hang on. Are you seeing the way Almiron is playing way better than Mason Mount and Kai Havertz together, all in one? He's playing better than both of them together in one. What's it called? Callum Wilson scoring more goals than Aubameyang. You know what I mean? I'm looking at my opponents and I'm seeing if they're doing something and we're not doing something, surely we are at a disadvantage. And not because we are Chelsea Football Club and we won the Champions League in 2021. Now that gives us the God-given right that we'll be fine because it's just Chelsea. No.
I understand. Nothing is a given.
No, exactly. So that's why I always I don't want to be wishful. I don't want to like to be wishful. I am optimistic, but I like to be too realistic. I'm really realistic, and I hold my hands up. What I can think is that this club has given me trophies, big trophies, for me to hold pride and shut my mouth for a good couple of years before we come back in again. You know what I mean? So I don't need to win a trophy every single season. I'm not hungry like that. Certain teams ain't seen it for 30 years or 20 years. I just saw it in 2017, if I really want to be honest. Say 5-6 years, okay. Champions League was in 2021. So if I understand that my squad is going to go through a process, I can bite my tongue, look at the trophy cabinet, thank God for that, and just see a new rebuild within the next 2-3 years. And I don't know why it's very hard for Chelsea fans to accept that.
Yeah, just quickly, let me catch up with the chat. Some delicious update from Liam Lane, and it looks like if we start talking, we may not end up going into the lineup prediction, but it's going to be useless anyway because we can't get it correctly. But here again, now Kachila, we're again on the same boat. Make the process make sense. I can't really, and I'm sorry, I'm not the one to ask this question because I can't help you. I have to be honest. I have no clarity. Again, to me, the only issue, a most pronounced issue I'm sensing is that he's not taking the process gradual. I think he's being drastic about implementing his preferred approach to the game, which is a risk. But again, if I start seeing result, I'll take it. But please, if you can, just take it gradual. This is for the lawyers here. Graham Potter will have to sack Roger and hire Camila Vaquez and Johnny as his defense team after the Newcastle game. So get ready soon, because if we lose that one, Roger, you're not going to be able to defend him. This is all so depressing. It is indeed. Again, I will even take Europa League at this point, but no European football is unacceptable. I won't take Europa League. That will cause us more damage than again.
No. So I mean, why?
Actually, I
these are the questions we want to ask ourselves.
You will be so busy, you will still not do well in the league.
No, it would give opportunity for the actual new players to bond. This will be like cup games.
Still, the manager is involved in the process. He's going to get exhausted. He's going to burn out. But go ahead.
Sorry to cut you off. Sorry.
No, not at all.
Why that question there? Why is no European football unacceptable in a process? This is the why is it? Why is it unacceptable?
Expectations.
But if your expectations have to be lowered because we're clearly not good enough, why is it unacceptable? Why do we have this expectation that it's unacceptable? So, but if it happens, we're gonna have to accept it, aren't we?
Of course.
So why is it unacceptable? if you are in a process,
Can I-
and I'm not,
can I
and
just-
that's a rhetorical
It's
question.
reality. It's
That's
reality.
That's a rhetorical question, by the way, and it's a rhetorical question because this is the narrative amongst our fan base. We are entitled to success because of we've been used to, accustomed to. If it's not working, we put money over it. We get in this guy; he will quick fix it.
Let me ask you quickly, IBZ. Do you think it's different for again when you talk about United fans or City fans? No, that's the size of the club. It's become it's not something that will stop.
Manchester
really.
United are no different, coach. This is what I'm trying to explain.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm glad you understand that. That's the fans.
I have Arsenal family. I have Arsenal close people, and I told them before. Well, I told them post Wenger, or even before they got Wenger, I said, you guys aren't where you were before. Wake up and smell the coffee. Vieira's not on the pitch anymore. Henry's not on the pitch anymore. Ian Wright, them man, they are not on the pitch anymore. You man have got new breed of players, new generation. You lot have to build a process. Man, we're Arsenal, man. We are unbeaten. We did this. We won the little unbeaten and all 38 games unbeaten. All of the United fans will tell you they won 20 odd league titles. So because of that, they should be where they are. Now they don't know who to blame. They're blaming everybody. But they have to go through a process, and we have to go through that same thing.
Can I just say something real quick about the process, right? And Chelsea fans. For us, right, if we let it, it's going to take a season for us to complete our process. Literally. Because what we have versus Arsenal...
You think a season will be enough?
I think a season, if we let it. Because the thing is, if we get on Potter's case right now, then we're going to start over again. We're going to get a new manager, get his players, etc., etc. Right now, we're in a... Yeah, we're in a process where we have Potter. Okay, Potter is for the future. Yes, we gave him 5 years, etc. Now get Potter the players that he wants, right? And by that, we're not doing it blindly. We get a proper structure, a proper spine in the team. Exactly. Regardless if Potter leaves, we still have a proper spine that the next manager can work with.
Exactly.
This is why a director of football was very important for us, because he will get us a proper spine, regardless of who manage it. This is why at Chelsea we were consistently successful for the longer range, even with different managers, because the spine was never broken at Chelsea. The players were there. They held down, and we just plugged in a right.
Right? What was his name?
Yeah,
Emanalo,
yeah.
Emanalo, yes. Oh, he gave us Salah. He gave us Kevin De Bruyne. The list was long then. And they couldn't even get into that first team, because in that first team, we had Mata who was doing a Maza. We had every other player. But this is what we need right now. Okay, Potter, right now, at January, bro, get the players that you need. Get the DMs that you need, the right wings, the proper spine. Fix that spine, and you're ready to go. Because already you showed us, you have glimpses of...
We're probably like 2-3 transfer windows away from doing what we need to do. But obviously,
and this is why
if you count January, which is January is a bit of a teething one, it's a bit harder. So if I'm going to be realistic, I'll say just give ourselves 2 summer windows and say yes. After 2 summer windows, we will be here where we need to be, probably even shorter. But you need 2 and I'm talking. I'm not saying they sign this young G. No, you sign a player that's gonna, i.e., push Reece James to the belt, or when Reece James is injured or so, he comes in and gives an adequate cover, like Reece James didn't even go.
And don't sign a cover. Don't even sign a backup. Sign a starter that competes with Reece James. Let them rotate.
That's exactly my point. We need that. We're not at the luxury of depending on one player. We are playing far too many games. The expectation of too many games is very, very high, especially at this day and age where, I don't know, we're having a new competition in Champions League when they're gonna have more teams, which means more games. There's gonna be increases. It's a lot of things.
And I just want to say, this is why I say it would take us a season. This is the season where we cry. We have shows like this, Coachella, where we question each other's lawyers and players. Yeah, but this is the season. This is the season where you let everything out and be the Arsenal TV type of thing, and we cry, we do everything. But one thing we need to do is back Bowley and his philosophy. Because I see what he's trying to do, but the question is, can he implement it in time for us to, get over it? Because right
And
now,
if
I
we're
could.
being honest,
wait.
again, Bali has a good plan.
Just to ask
Go
that,
ahead.
yeah. Just to add to that, what time? When you say in time, what time? Your time? What your time plan? The fan base's time plan?
No. Football. Oh, can I say this in a? I'm trying to make it not my time, but like
You know
a
what I mean?
football time. Yeah, like it's not me. It's not the league. It's that football time because football.
Okay.
Yeah, you get me. Like there's a chance where we don't have to fall off real quick because right now we
How
have
long
a
is this
particular
window?
team.
How long is this hypothetical?
Sorry, can you just finish real quick? We have a team, right, that can sustain us throughout a season for us not to fall off really badly, for the next gen players to come in and fix whatever, that small patch. And this window was yes, that transitional. Thank you for the word. And this was the previous window, which we fumbled under Tuchel, etc. And there was a lot of things going on. I can get that. But this is another window where we can fix those things. This is why I say the quicker we do it, the better we're off going to be. Because there are certain players that are in the team right now that are still sustaining us. Yes, we are over-reliant on them. Yes, you can say that Kovacic, we did that to Kante, we did that to a lot of players because the spine is not there. Nothing is there, actually, at Chelsea. But we can do that. We can actually fix our problem as quickly as possible because we are not an Arsenal who take two seasons to do that. We're not a Liverpool who take 3 seasons to fix their problem. We can actually do it immediately.
See, I just want to counter that. You see Liverpool, you see how they did their model. That is the epitome of how you want to do your model, bro. It will take. That's the epitome of it.
But what I'm saying is that we are not going to take a season or two to get rid of players and get a particular player. You get what I'm saying? Right now we have the cheap. Wait. We can do that in the long term. Yes, 100%. We can get there, right?
Okay.
But right now it's very crucial that we get those particular players in right now because we still have that little bit of leeway in terms of being new owners and all of that. We can spend a little bit more and get the players that we need to sustain us over the transitional period. Do you get what I'm saying? So we can do the.
Go ahead. Just drop.
Before I just want everyone, everyone in the chat, everyone in the panel to hear me, everyone grab a copy of Football Manager 2023. It's just been released today on all platforms, PC, PlayStation, and Xbox. Get yourself a copy. Start your football journey. Maybe it will give you an understanding of how I'm being absolutely fucking serious. It'll maybe give you an understanding of how the thing works. Trust me. Just grab yourself a copy.
Let me catch up with the chat, and that makes sense actually. If you've played Football Manager before, you understand how difficult it can be. But my point is just take it gradually. If it's a process, if you believe that's a long process, why be in a hurry to implement a certain system? It can be overwhelming and confusing to certain players. But that's why I'm going to catch up with the chat. Again, we'll come back to topics that are aligned with, again, the match we're previewing really. Some updates from Liam Lane and some updates in the chat. Jorginho out tomorrow. I hope you're happy now, Roger. Again, there you go. He's out. I hope you're happy too, Emperor. You didn't even want him on the pitch. At least Roger accepted he was one of our best players in the game. At least he says off the ball. Now we have yeah.
I was saying Jorginho is good enough for if we're 3-0 up. That's all I'm saying.
No, I understand. Just like the Mikel role.
4-0.
But we lowering our standards so much. How far do we fall? Again, this is my question. Good question. And I believe during the course of the conversation, they've answered the question. This patience during the process is a myth. The footballing landscape changes every single year. And by the time we emerge from this process, there will be new champions, new contenders, new entrants, probably top 10, then not even top 6 anymore. Because you can say there's top 8 now. Again, new regulations and all that. Again, let's have it right. Again, my generation of flop Mickey Mouse got the mirrors to see us through 10 or more years of a trophy drought. I totally understand your sarcasm there, and it's hilarious, really. But I'm not going to interpret that. I hope anybody that wants to do that, let them do that. Yes.
That's funny.
Yeah, Jorginho out for tomorrow with a slight foot injury. Again, we lower again that expectation. Guess what? Newcastle will be there to take our key targets. It's as simple as that. If they make it to top four, big players will be joining them. Right again, if we're out of top four, we have to again go to it again. Do something extraordinary, which is paying more to accommodate them. Even Newcastle, I must say, congratulations to them. Their project is actually ahead of time. Want to keep the status of a big team when we need again to hold again Champions League every year. It's as simple as that, and we've done that for a long time now. But yeah, things aren't really going our way. Again, if Newcastle finish that top four, it's again it's peak. I don't know if they will.
Coach,
come
I gotta
back
love you
out.
and leave you guys. Big up the panel, big up everyone.
All right, thank you very much. But talk to you later, man.
Cheers.
Thank you
Again,
guys later.
if they make it into top four, coming out will be difficult because they have the money to remain there. They have the money
They're
to
the
buy
new Man
players.
City, coach.
Sorry?
They're the new Man City where they were 10
Yeah,
years
they're
ago.
richer, right?
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong. They're richer.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so we must be careful how we're talking about, again, a lowering expectation. I understand. That's why we shouldn't even take the risk of missing out on top four because getting back is going to be difficult. Everything has changed for Newcastle, really. If a process, again, I've read that one, again, we will need to start building a team for the Super League. This is the reality, sure. And maybe that's Ball's plan, really, because it's about, he wants to win, but profit, it means a lot to them. At some amount to, again, is that NUFC is at Newcastle? United FC, yeah.
Yes.
That's what it is. Again, we need to cut our losses with overhyped players. Again, you're entitled to your opinion. And if you're watching, if you haven't, drop a like on the stream and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Thank you so much for all the support. I appreciate that. Again, as a fan, we just have to remember everyone is entitled to their point of view and respect each other. Again, to this Potter, again, so this Potter in or out argument doesn't divide the fan, but it doesn't really. But some people take it too far that it seems like a fight. But again, we got to say we have some special panelists here, again, who understand it's just a debate. You voice your opinion, I voice mine, and there's always something to learn from each other. Again, that makes it very interesting. The fan base, but some people, again, take it far, that more than I would want to see. So let's look at what we have here, really. It's still, again, we may not get a chance to build the lineup because we have less than 30 minutes around them. Graham Potter or Raheem Sterling. I'm going to start with his cousin. Let me start with his cousin Roger here. It says again, our players go through moments where it isn't so positive. So he knows, really. He knows that Raheem Sterling is in a very poor form. I don't think you can zoom in into, again, the individual. The team isn't functioning as well as we'd like. Again, he's a proven top player, which means the whole thing to him is this. That aspect that says, again, Raheem Sterling is a proven top player. But just 2 games alone. Learn that he's not in a good form. Just bench him. And look at the responses there. Let's look at the thread. This guy here says, bench him and play Pulisic. It's as simple as that. You recognize he's not doing well, bench him. Rest him or play him on the wings. You see solutions. These are fans, really. Probably because you've been playing him at wing back. Some is, But, Roger, let me start with you. Stop all this rating of English players. You see what he's causing himself. He's making it seem like he's being biased or passionate. I don't know how else to Professor, it's concerning, really. His comments are concerning, even if that even if it means something different. But your thoughts on this?
But Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang comes from Gabon. He's not from Watford.
No, forget about that aspect, really. I understand where you're coming from. Yeah,
he's playing players based on reputation. It seems not on form. You can say that across the board. Do you understand? It's like, yes, he's playing Mount. He's playing Sterling way too much. And you know how I feel about Sterling. I've never rated him that highly. but he does have positive attributes. Obviously, otherwise you wouldn't be a professional in this league. I concede that, but I don't believe. I need to do. Okay, sarcasm insert, please. A spreadsheet from this season, his dribbling statistics for Sterling. I'm going to do it today and I'll send it to you. And it's probably atrocious because it's usually 0 out of 3, 1 out of 4. It's pathetic. This is one of his greatest attributes, was his ability to dribble past people. I haven't seen it this season. Statistically, he doesn't pass the eye test. He's not clinical. He's another great
What do you think about this? Would you say he's loyal? He's respecting his reputation. He's going by his reputation rather than his a form.
Obviously, I mean, this has to be the only logical answer to that question, because I can't explain it any other way. It doesn't make sense. Not just with Sterling. You can also say the same for Mount. You can also say the same for Pierre-Emerick, etc. Defensively, he doesn't have much of a choice because of the fact that there's so much depletion. There's so many injuries and people that are not even fit to play a full game. So from the midfield going backwards, you can't really critique him on that based on what's transpired health-wise. But going forward, yes, you can. You definitely can.
Oh my! I respect your honesty.
There is no defense.
Roger, here's the thing. Calling you a lawyer, you know, that's just like a joke, right? You've always been factual. Yeah, you've always been factual. You recognize we've always had issues. You're one of those that were clamoring. We have a problem here. We've been 8 games unbeaten,
Houston,
but we have an issue. Yeah, we do have a problem, really. Again, but that's why I'm going to get to you in a bit again. Let's see what we have here. Again, this brother here, I love him so much. He says, riddle me this. Can you be Potter out even again? Can you be Potter out if you were never Potter in? No, you cannot. I don't get it, but I don't want to talk about that. If Potter is saying that, then he understands that he isn't doing his job again in getting Sterling performing. The point is, I'm not going to go to that far. Actually, I'm going to go. It's simple. Like the first guy that commented here that says, bench him and play Pulisic, and this one that says rest him or play him on the wings. It's some simple solution from fans. Again, a brilliant at the beautiful game. I love the guy. Again, his comic relief makes it worthwhile him being around here. But Eddie, before I go to Emperor, your thoughts here on this comment, really, what does that tell you?
Sorry.
Hey, let me know. I want to get Eddie's thoughts before I come to you, Emperor, but I don't know if Eddie is still with us. Usually, if you're using a small device, it takes time to unmute. Clearly, we're not going to do the predicted lineup again. So, Eddie, your thoughts on this comment?
I mean, the manager is confirming what we all know. You know, but the only difference is that he's not reacting to what he knows. That is clear to everyone to see. Because if he knows that Sterling is struggling and he still keeps him on the pitch for 90 minutes, let's go with the last game, then that tells you he doesn't really know what he's doing as a manager. Because if you know clearly he's struggling and you still keep him on for 90 minutes, I mean, what are you trying to create? I mean, this is about squad. It's about the togetherness of the squad. So if you're saying this as a manager and the players are sitting there looking at themselves and saying, wow, this guy still ended up playing 90 minutes. I mean, it's only going to go one way. There's going to be players that are not happy in the squad. So you want to dish out instructions to them. You tell them what to do. And if you feel they are not playing, players know how to judge themselves. They know when they are not playing well on the pitch. So if the assessment they have, let's say for argument's sake, they have Pulisic gets on the next game, and Pulisic looks at himself. He's had maybe 5 attempts to dribble, and he successfully makes 4 dribbles. And you pull him out after 60 minutes or 45 minutes or whatever. Then you think he's going to be happy. When you left a player on the pitch the previous game that could not had about 6 attempts to dribble, only one successful dribble. So that plays in their mind. So that plays in their mind. They're not going to be happy. So he needs to really know that he's going to start picking players based on form. Forget about reputation. It has to be based on form. At the end of the day, he's going to be the one that will be chopped. The manager is going to be chopped. All these players cannot be sacked at the same time. So if he knows what is going to happen,
to sack the manager.
Very easy to sack the manager. So if he's going this way, and I tell you, as much as Chelsea fans, which we know majority of them were not happy when Potter took over because of the love for Tuchel, and I tried as much then to let's forget about it, we move on, Potter will do a better job. I was saying that, I was advocating for that. Let's give him time. But the way it's going now, if we end up losing this game tomorrow, and again Newcastle, I tell you, the alarm bells will be ringing. No matter how it's too soon. No. Everybody will be patient if they see the performances. I mean, no fan cannot take losing a game, but it needs to be, the performance needs to be up there to everyone to see, they gave it their all, but they lost. That is acceptable. Sure. But when the performance does not measure up to standard and we're losing,
doesn't merit it, does it?
That's exactly what I'm saying. So that's the biggest problem.
Dave, just quickly, Dave, if you're using more than 2 emojis, the machine will time you out. And by the way, Nightbot isn't a human being. It's deleting your message because you're using too many, emojis or caps. So be careful with that. And it's not a human being. So please be careful. Go ahead, Eddie. If you're not done, let me catch up with the chat. Come back. We have more stuff. Again, a few things, 2 more things. We'll have less than 20 minutes to round up, so we'll be able to do that. Go ahead, Eddie, if you're still talking.
The difference between us and Arsenal, because when they were in this, let's believe in the process, some Arsenal fans were saying, some of them were saying, let Arteta out. But they could see some of them could see what Arteta was trying to do. And Arteta, at the same time, was clearing out some dead wood from the club. Players that were not giving their all. The system he wanted to implement, the players he had when he came in could not implement it. So he's clearly cleared those players, and now they can see what he's trying to do. And Arsenal fans, they could afford to take time to accept Arteta implementing his style because they're not used to winning. But Chelsea fans will be impatient because we are used to winning. So if we say this season now, if we don't make Champions League, it's going to be a bad season for us by the standards we've set for ourselves in the previous years. But Arsenal fans could bear it. We're not even in any league. We're not in the Champions League. We're not in the Europa League. We could afford it. We're still rebuilding because over the years, they've not been winning. But we are so used to winning that if we don't make top 4, and if we say we got knocked out early again in the Champions League or whatever it is, after even signing players, I understand we should give the manager maybe 2 transfer windows or even another 2 summers to implement. But if the performances on the pitch don't allow fans to be patient enough, then the alarm bells will be ringing. As soon as the alarm bell starts ringing, then it doesn't go well. So the manager needs to quickly fix up and know that, this performance is not good enough from this player, wherever you are. Let's play. If you're talking of pressing against Arsenal, there was no reason. If you're looking for a player who could press from the front, that should be Gallagher. We know what you're going to get from Gallagher pressing. He would have been the one doing that, not Kai Havertz. Not if you wanted people who could press, it could have been Broja, not Aubameyang. And I said it before during the preview.
I agree with that. Yeah,
we said it during the preview that that game against Arsenal will be won and lost in the midfield. And I said Jorginho doesn't like being pressed. Arsenal again, if you want to watch it, we're lucky to lose that game 1-0 because Arsenal were not up to the standard they've set for themselves this season, to be honest. So we're lucky to go away just only 1-0. So if we are trying to change anything, he's now put himself in a very difficult situation, tight situation, because going into the last 2 games, he has to at least try to win these 2 games. That is exactly what will make the fans calm. But if anything short of, good performance, say we against City, for personally, I'm not expecting us to beat City, except if City, I don't know, if City even turns up with their second squad, they're still good enough to beat us on the day. But say if we present a good performance, we come up with a good showing, press hard, the performance is there, we try, and maybe say we lost maybe 1-0 or something, every fan will accept that. But if we play against them and we get turned over, say 4-0 easily, and then we go to Newcastle and anything goes wrong again, we lose. it's gonna be tough for Tuchel. For Potter.
Mhm. Yep. Again, Porter said Omari Hutchinson and Lewis Hall will be involved. That's some good news involved. Maybe let them start. Again, we're going to lose that game anyway. That's how I see it. So that reflects quite badly on Porter. So Porter either needs to figure something out to get Sterling's form turned around, or he has to bench him immediately. It's as simple as that, but unfortunately, he's not doing that. That's a good point. Again, beautiful. People who wanted a TT out, when you asked them who they wanted to be replaced with, nobody was saying Potter. Again, Potter selects players based on names, not form. You're right. Again, you can say a lot of us, we've been saying that. Again, unfortunately, the board have messed up. And again, I hope it doesn't blow up on their face, because in this case, their face is the fan. And when a poop hits the fan, it touches everybody in the room, because if it blows up on their face, it will affect us too, which means Potter will not be successful. I hope he is successful. Omari Hutchinson has better ball playing. He's a better dribbler than Raheem Sterling, really. Dribbling ability than Raheem Sterling. Sterling dribbles like a Philip Neville. Okay.
Oh,
And
Phil Neville, I love it.
ouch. Yeah. Again, Coach Chris says again, the problem looks like we have other people than the manager picking the team, and it's been that way a while. We will all remember Torres and Morata being picked when they obviously shouldn't. Wow, that's another theory. Well, if that's the case, then he's really a yes man, yes manager, and that's dangerous, really. But Sterling is so much money. Again, it's Torres all over again. We're forced to pay to play him again. Maybe that's the case. We're just playing him because of how much we paid for him and his salary. Again, it just doesn't make any sort of sense, really. Again, I think the issue lies with Porter being afraid of high-profile players in the dressing room. Like Bobby said the first time he came in, maybe, again, being political, not to get the team to turn against him. But, again, I hope that's not the case. What I saw, it didn't look like the players wanted to be on the pitch, play for the manager, really. Remember that the main reason for Sterling coming to Chelsea was game time. The board blundered. So maybe there's an agreement, really. But we'll see. Again, there really is no reason at this point other than politics. Why politics has started one game in the past month. He's going to Newcastle after World Cup. I think he leaves Chelsea, and we will be screwed. Again, I can't say much about that. Roger, let me bring this to your table. Again, it says, again, since we are using the Arteta mode, was Arteta better manager when he took over Arsenal? Again, in comparison to Potter taking over Chelsea. And again, I hate pulling numbers out of my wazoo. I'm not sure that I can compare them.
I saw an interview.
But you go ahead, yeah.
I saw an interview with Pep Guardiola, and he was being asked about, Arteta's abilities, and he was saying he's going to be successful. He understands concepts. He's a very intelligent coach. And if you know anything about Pep, he's very cerebral, and he's a very much what they say in America is an X and O's coach, meaning he understands formations and strategy, tactics, etc.
Detail oriented.
Very much so. And he could not stop speaking highly enough of him in that regard. He was very complimentary indeed, underlying the fact his strengths and so forth. And he said he has no hesitation in believing he's going to be a successful coach for Arsenal. So, I mean, that's high praise indeed. And you could tell he was not just saying this for the sake of saying it. He was saying it because he believes it, not also because he's good friends. It's because I believe they're on the same wavelength.
But from what his observations.
Yes, exactly. I mean, they worked for 2 years or a year and a half, whatever it was, I forget. But Arteta was basically his understudy, So, and that shows. So,
and boy, did he learn.
Yes, exactly. And maybe he even brought something to the game that Pep learned from, So who knows? But I could tell from that interview, I got slightly worried. But then this time last year, I was thinking, maybe Pep was wrong, but apparently not. It takes time and that's why I was asking half an hour to an hour ago, basically, how long will our transition take to be successful? Is it going to be this season? Will it be 2 or 3 year plan? I don't know. That's why I wanted the panel to answer that, because I can't see it being like you said with Bowley in the States. I can't see it being a 5 year plan here.
It's a different sport, like you mentioned.
Entity altogether, yes. So I don't think he can be that patient in that regard. Don't get me wrong. Don't have the patience of Abramovich. That was a nanosecond. You fire Ancelotti after winning the double. Who does that? So I'm not saying go.
Roger, before I go to again, Emperor, let me ask you this: does the fans' opinion really matter? Like, if the fans start turning on the team, turning on the manager, do you think it will move Bowley?
It could do potentially. If Bowley is at the Bridge, and let's hypothetically state that, let's say we keep on. First of all, we're playing poorly. If we start to play very well but lose, that's different. But if the fans turn on the team, either at halftime or after the game, where you hear nothing but incessant booing and whistling, and we play poorly, and the product on the pitch is very substandard, inferior, then I think that could add doubt into Bowley's way of thinking. So it has the potential to, shall we say, insert
he will
doubt.
be seeing things the same way.
Does that make sense?
Way fans are seeing things.
Yes, because he's never really been brought up in a football philosophy. He's always been more of an American sports follower. I don't think he's ever been an avid European football fan, which is a completely different, culture, so to speak. And I think if he sees this, especially in person at the Bridge, and it's constant, I think doubts would enter his mind. His train of thought may indeed change. I think there's a possibility that could transpire. Same with the board, by the way, not just Bowley. It could be across the board also, Egg, Barley, and so forth. So, the fans do have an input in that regard. They really do, especially if the place stops being packed. Especially if we're not packing the place, then that's another factor also.
Yep. Just quickly, let me get what we have in the chat. I'll comment to Emperor. We have 2 more things to talk about, and we have less than 20 minutes to round up. Again, that's a good contribution there from Mario Minto, brother. And I hope by now, again, I believe you have recovered fully. I sincerely do believe that, and hopefully that's the case. I'm still not sure we should be using Arsenal as the yardstick as the season isn't over. You could say Arsenal. You could say they're probably using us. They probably for the past 3 years knows if they beat us in the season, then it's going to be a good season for them. Beating us has always been a turnaround for them, and this time beating us, they're title contenders. Even Arteta has to admitted it this time, because it's a good sign for them. I'm not that superstitious, but it's a good sign for them. Every time they beat us, they turn around their season. Or again, you can say this time again, because they are up there again on the league table. Yeah, it's a good sign for them that Arteta had to even admit. So that they're title contenders. So we should use them as a yardstick too.
Coach.
Sorry?
They're not going to win it.
I hope it doesn't happen. Again, they weren't that good against us. We were just worse.
They weren't. Yeah.
No. They were good, really. It don't matter how poor we were. Again, teams often pick who they wanted to be stars when they actually are stars like Kane or Beckham. It's great, but when they are not really that guy like Mount or Havertz, we look like we do. I'd rather a team than actually a single individual being the standout player. Again, we've been there before, and I really don't want that. Again, I think we're panicking not so much because of our team is bad. We're panicking because of the improvements of the teams around us. Arsenal, it's all, again, it being formal there. Again, I understand Potter, again, still has to convince us that he's the man. Yep, he has a lot of convincing to do. As much as I still think he's going to do it. Let me see what we have here. Pulisic will not start. I'd be surprised if he does. We can talk about that. How long we want tomorrow? We end up seeing again. What's his name? Raheem starting over Pulisic. Emperor, coming to you quickly. We have just a few minutes to round up because we have one more thing here to look at from Potter's again a press conference. Here again, quickly your thoughts on this comment from Graham Potter, really.
Yeah, I agree with everybody what everybody said, and yeah, man, the sooner, and I just want to get back to the time thing, right? Like the sooner we get our situation up and running, I think the better, because this the director of football thing, the whole sports director and all of that. The sooner those people are implemented and are at the job like fully running, the sooner I think we're gonna be competing. And again, for people who are saying it's because the teams around us are better than us. Yes, they are. We need to acknowledge that they are by far. And
Currently.
Yeah, currently, yes, they are by far, right? And what we have is like, the recent success that we had, which was a good thing. Like that Champions League, good thing. But we need to look forward now. And looking forward is actually doing, what the other teams were doing properly. And the thing is, we're not gonna struggle like the other teams. Like it took Arsenal 3 years, guys. Like, let's be honest. It took them 3 years. They were not even fully believing in the process. They were doing their own thing. Some of them were like Arteta. Some of them are still Arteta out. So like right now, let's just do us for a minute or two, because the season is long as well, and we all know that party for them is very important. So what they're gonna do in January also is a big factor. So I wouldn't say go far as winning the league. Yes, they could be in and around. They're in a good position to be in top 4. Yes, I can say that. But winning the league, that's a whole different story. So, but like the season is long. We don't know how our teams are going to be impacted in the league in terms of the World Cup and after the World Cup, especially us. Oh my days! I don't want Reece James going to the World Cup. But yeah, please go.
What is the risk? I know you could say the eagerness from him is first World Cup, but it's a risk. It's a risk. Yeah. He could join them and get injured again, aggravate the injury, or maybe during a training actually alone. So it's even a risk for England to call him up. I know he's important, but go ahead. Like I said, we have just a few minutes to round up, but go ahead.
Yeah, I was just saying, like, it's a recurring story for us, but it needs to start. And just to answer one of the panels is asking about time as well. It's all up to Bowley. Like he implemented this time. So the quicker, and this is the nice thing I love about football. It doesn't take long for you to learn, and it doesn't take you 6 seasons. It literally takes you a couple of games, and you're like, oh shit, this is football. This is where everything happens immediately. Like a couple of run of bad games, and Chelsea fans are going to be up and about and crying all over the place. And it's going to show in the stadiums. They're going to fill the stadium to a certain degree just to boo at the players and to boo at Bowley. And I don't think he wants that image, because Bowley, I think he's like he loves his camera time. So I don't think he would love a bunch of Chelsea fans just booing him. It's still going to add it to the narrative of, no disrespect to any Americans out there, it's going to add to the narrative that American people don't know, etc., etc. So I don't think he would want that image on him. So I think we are in a privileged position, if I may say so. We just don't see it yet because it's kind of mudded with like new manager. He needs to implement his style. He needs to get his players. Plus the added effect of young players coming in. We are being sold. The thing is with Bowley, he did not say that we are in a process. I think the fans would have been okay if he said it. But I think everyone, Coachella, you too, I think if Bowley came out and with a statement and said, Chelsea are in a process of building one of the best teams in the world. You get what I'm saying? I think everybody would like,
again,
okay.
You could say that alone, again, you could say offers clarity.
Yeah, it just clears everything. You would even understand why
it defines the process, really.
Yeah, because so we were like, okay, we're in a process. Don't mind us losing to Arsenal. No, guys, we are in a process. Like, it would be a perfect excuse for every Chelsea fan. So the problem is Chelsea fans don't have an excuse to talk to rivals, to talk to anybody in football. We just seeing the
overall the process isn't defined because we're not sure how much time it has. We're not sure what the new owners are expecting. It's not defined. So again, there's no clarity on what the process entails and all that. Again, we have just a few minutes to round up. Again, go ahead. I'll let you drop so I can we'll take care of what we have left and call it a day. Yeah.
I was just finishing up on saying if Boli just made that little bit of tweak when he just said Chelsea are in a process, I think every Chelsea fan would be okay. I don't think it's a matter of us not, being patient and all that. I think we can be patient as long as we see it. We were going to be, our expectations are a bit, overhyped because we know who we are, the season, how it started, etc., etc. We can actually go toe-to-toe with anybody because we back ourselves as Chelsea fans. And we still have that mentality. But if you down it down a bit and say, yo, we are in a process, relax. We still need to get X amount. Because I don't think any other Chelsea fan can tell you we need X amount of players. We all know that we need X amount of players just to build into the squad. And then we can move forward. So if it's a bit mudded, but yeah, man. Let's I'm okay with it because I saw it when we lost 4-0 against Arsenal. I was like, okay, we are in a process, and it's going to be hard to say to a lot of Chelsea fans. But yeah, I'm okay with it as long as the process is done quickly because football moves fast, and I think Boli's going to learn that really, really fast. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, just quickly again this one here, if Kante show a very serious time, we've practically changed. Again, I'm not sure, and I don't want to get into that argument really. Can every manager we've had in the last 4 seasons again said or did something that resonated with the fans? We're still waiting for one from Graham Potter, and you're not going to get one really. I don't think it's the guy that gives you one. Just quickly, Roger, let me start with DJ. He hasn't said anything since he joined, and plus we're about to round off. Let me get his thoughts before I come back to Roger. And then your thoughts coming on the screen. For instance, just so Mourinho, I'm the special one. His second stint, he said something in the similar as this particular team. Again, it's like little horses. Next season, little horses, something like that. If you remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
Again,
Little Pony.
Pony, Jose Mourinho. Yeah, I remember that.
Again, little ponies. Yeah, little horses or little ponies, whatever you call them. Again, even Sarri said something to everyone. Thomas Tuchel build a team that nobody wants to play against. Antonio Conte, something like he wants to be here for long. We want to win. And you can see, even those that didn't say something, but their behavior, you can see the difference. But this brings to mind Graham Potter's behavior on the touchline.
Yeah.
To me, that's not really okay with me. Because the best managers in the world, as much as I hate micromanaging, even in football, it's acceptable to a certain measure. Pep Guardiola does it. The biggest names in football, again, that I know since I started following football and I understanding what football is, from Arrigo Sacchi to Carlo Ancelotti to even Sir Alex Ferguson does talk on the touchline. He stands up. And to, what's his name? Even Zinedine Zidane talks on the touchline. Pep Guardiola, Antonio Conte, Thomas Tuchel, who, again, those things, even if it doesn't change the game, even when you talk to the assistant referee or the referee, decisions you don't like, it can help sway things your way. But start with what we have on the screen. We haven't heard anything that you can say gives us hope or resonates with the fans?
Yeah. Listen, what Mario's just said there, Kuchel, is spot on, because I still remember this day. I don't know if you guys can go back to 2003, 2004, 2005, when Jose Mourinho came waltzing through the door. Obviously, with his press conference, I was like, I'm a special. I think I'm one of the bottom. I'm a special one. And then what did he go and do after that? He went into the players' changing room, looked at all the players, took out all his medals, and said, "This is what I've won. What have you guys won?" And he showed all his medals to every single one of the players for them to get that winning mentality, to say what they can become and what they can be under his stewardship and management. So he came out and showed all those medals to all of them, and then they realised, yes, we can get to that stage. And in the end, you saw what he did with that team. With Carlo Ancelotti, everybody knew this guy was more of a Hollywood-style manager, but we knew what kind of a manager he was, a successful manager from Italy, won things in Milan, won things, trophies, won Champions Leagues, I do believe, as well with Milan. Conte the same. I look at poor Graham Potter and I think to myself, when he comes when the players get introduced to Graham Potter,
even
the first thing
Brazilian man,
Scolari
would say something. I think something he said, something about Sir Alex Ferguson. I think something again. He's going to show him who's the boss, or something to that effect. You know, you need something like that. But go ahead.
Yeah, and so when he comes through the door, you're thinking, okay, what can he tell the players now? You know, I've done this in my previous club in Sweden. I've done well with them, but I've managed to get Brighton to where they are. But I've won no trophies. So the players are now looking at and thinking to themselves, well, you know, we've won more than you have. already that's already in their heads that they've won more than he has anyway. But what can you do to make us better? Because that's what the players look to. Because they look for that general, don't they? They look for the manager, and it all starts with the manager. It starts with the manager. It goes into the players' heads, and they have to realise what they've got to do, what they've got to achieve. Now, at the same time, I also say to them, you should always be playing for the football club, regardless of who the manager is. So that we can't keep kind of say give these players a backspin and say, it doesn't matter who the manager is. You're still playing for that badge. You still go out there every week and you play for the badge. You go and play for the football club. That's how I look. That's how I assess it on. But when I look at Paul Graham in terms of what he tries to do, look, I've always said it. The guy's a good manager, but again, for me at this moment in time, the reason why he doesn't bring me with confidence at the moment is because I watch him on the touchline and in his previous games, in his games that he's done so far, and I'm looking at him and I'm thinking he's got his arms folded the majority of the time, and he looks confused. He looks
only to his assistant.
Yeah, assistant, and he looks confused. He doesn't know what he's got to do, and that for me, when you have that kind of negative vibe coming from your manager. And the players are looking at from across the body language, and the players are looking across that from the pitch, and thinking, "Our manager seems lost here. What are we supposed to do then?" You think he's out of his depth? I don't think he's out of his depth. No, I think he can do it, but he just needs to be a little bit more. How would I put it? A little bit more Jose, a bit more lenient, a bit more stronger.
Look at the screen. Just says, "I say, show me some emotions, please."
That show some emotions. Show that you're a boss. Show that I'm running the ship here now. You guys are going to do what I want you to do. Okay, you're going to play the way. Look where you guys were when I took over from Thomas Tuchel. I'm going to try and obviously make us better. But at the moment, I look at him and I think to me, you're just a yes man. I mean the comment yesterday about Mason Mount. I mean, what did he say? Oh, apparently something about Mason Mount saying, "Oh, I should be starting." It's more or less, is it Mason Mount FC? It's more like he's listening to what Mason Mount's telling him, and rather than him being the manager saying, "You know what? Look, the reason why I need you for this and you need to show more." Then no, so it's Mason Mount telling him in a tweet or something that, something about thank you, something about you're playing me and something like that. Some comment went out yesterday, and I'm thinking that, and I'm thinking to myself, you're the manager, Graham. Tell him, what it is. Listen, I'm not, as I keep saying, we need to give the guy time, but he needs to start getting his instructions across the pitch and make the players understand who the boss is. Because if he doesn't do that, he's in for a long, long, long trip at Chelsea, and he's got a long way ahead of him, mate. And if he doesn't do that, I can only see it going one way and one way only. And unfortunately, how Chelsea works over the years in that old regime is it's always the manager that suffers the sacking. It's never the players. And
why don't you guys?
That's the easier way to solve the problem.
Why don't you guys say it? Why don't you guys say it? You want him to flex his muscles like Tuchel. Just say it.
Yeah. Empire, you know that, bro. I want him to do that more emotional, bro. More emotions. You get me? Tell the players who bosses. Do you get
Something
me?
like that
Yeah,
would go
but
a long way for the fans, really. But just quickly, please,
But
we have
let-
just a few minutes to, like, less than 4 minutes to round off, and I want to get Roger's thoughts in a bit. But go ahead if you have something to say, Emperor.
No. I was just saying. I was just saying. He just needs to shake the next manager's hand, Pep's hand, and say, "Look me in the eye."
Oh my
That was
goodness! Again,
funny.
yeah, I agree.
Oh, that
Again,
was
show
superb.
some emotion. And here again, I said you have to show emotions. Yep, that's the truth. Potter's degree is actually working against him on the touchline. Even you could say dealing with the players. Maybe he's over. You could say he's overreading the emotions of his players. Maybe I'm not sure. And that is just me trying to figure out what's really going on, because I know he's capable of doing better than he's doing, I believe, at least on the touchline. Again, it has him again a trainer to be calm. Oh, that actually makes sense to a certain extent. Just calm down.
You see, the only thing is, sorry, you see, the only thing is all these flaws that we are counting now, we are just stating about Potter. Those are the things that will count against him if he doesn't change. If he doesn't change some of these things, these are the flaws that we are saying.
People was used to get to judge him. Go ahead.
Exactly. Because if you see the way he was reacting, his reaction to touchline against Arsenal, and compare that with what Arteta was doing, even though he was winning, Arteta was still dishing out instructions, shouting on touchline, being agitated at the touchline. That's exactly what should be happening. It should be the other way around for him, and he just stood there talking to his assistant. Those are some of the flaws. Those are some of the things that Chelsea fans won't accept, because we're not playing well, and we're not seeing
the demeanor, really.
Exactly. So it's not the kind of thing that we need from him. And so coupled with all the bad decisions that he's been making. So he needs to just really get it changed. And I'm afraid for him, honestly. I must confess, I'm really afraid for him. Because
and go ahead.
Yeah, because the games that are coming, these two games before the World Cup break, they are not good for him at all. They're not the games that can say, especially look at the way we lost against Brighton. So those are the things they've been coming. These performances have not been convincing, to be honest. We've only been lucky to have them results. If we go back to all the games we've played, how many of the games have we dominated 100% and say, oh yes, this is more like Chelsea Football Club dominating and winning and scoring? We've been struggling. Man United dominated us. We were only lucky not to be down in the first half against Man United, and we ended up having the draw, which I don't think we deserve, to be honest. But these performances have not been good enough. So he needs to really change so many things and then be honest with himself about his selection. The selection is the key. The selections will lead to his downfall completely, because when you get it wrong with the players, the dressing room especially, then it's only going one way. It's only going one way.
Just quickly, again, I'm going to catch up with the chat and now have, again, a Potter's lawyer, again, a leading lawyer round of the show for us with what he talked about that delicious comment
Leading,
there
I love
from,
it. Leading
Mario
lawyer.
Galito. It says, again, Graham Potter walks into the changing room and says, here's my magic wand, and goes, and
beautiful game.
happening. And let's say again, and the players say it's bigger. Yeah, exactly. And here again, TT knows how to talk. I know we won, we won, but the team was going into a bad run, and over that period, we are in a new phase. And when you say TT looks like he's a genius by speaking out, same players, same issues. Because you can say that's part of Potter's big problems, no matter how you see it. Even though I think he's made some mistakes, I'd say the big problem is that nothing has really changed in terms of the personnel. Every manager is different. Chelsea fans, again, we are living in the past. We need to move on. We need to move on, really. But the truth remains, look at every big name manager you know. The truth remains, again, you can say at least 90% of them are very vocal and very active in the touchline or on the touchline. I don't know which should be the correct one there. So you, again, Roger, can you please round it up for us? What do you think about that comment, really? Again, he hasn't said anything that resonates, again, with the fans, and it doesn't look like it's going to happen. He's even saying things that divides the fan base, really. Even those of us that were calling for him to be hired, that he's the man, given the work he's done at Brighton and the history of him getting the best out of players and all that. But he hasn't said anything that resonates with the fans. Rather, he's doing things that's turning even his biggest supporters against him. Even you that is his lawyer, you still question some of his decisions. But
Sir,
go ahead, round of four, so we can call it a day. I have to go take my boy to
lawyer.
school.
Lead. Don't forget that. No, all seriousness, all joking aside, I don't have a problem with his approach, with him crossing his arms, with his cerebral approach. He's a different and new kind of manager. He's not
And
like
then,
Sir
if
Alex
you like,
Ferguson
he can
that-
come with the pillow to the game, no worries. But go ahead.
Sure. No. Because, you know, like certain managers use that hairdryer approach, shouting, screaming. You know, he lacks Conte's passion, if you recall his passion on the sideline. Even Mourinho's. Okay, so he doesn't have that. I don't have a problem with that per se. I really don't. As long as he is able to articulate and transfer his philosophy and ethos on the training ground, and it results in a product on the actual field of play where we can see an evolution, so to speak, I have no problem with that. You know, you look at Ancelotti, he's very different. He's not like the others.
But he talks.
Yeah, no. I'm not disputing that, but I'm saying, you know, some listen, what he's done in Brighton, it's a football club. It's a Premier League football club. He has succeeded in that manner. Okay, yes, it's not Chelsea. Yes, they only play once a week, other than the domestic cup games, but he's still able to succeed. It takes time. Only time will tell whether he will succeed in Chelsea or not. His style of coaching or his outer persona, that doesn't really interest me at all. I loved watching Conte. Don't get me wrong. He gave me goosebumps.
There's something that will come up on the screen soon. I want you to look at it while you talk. Go ahead.
The gallows, probably the gallows. He's on death row. Yeah, I get
He's
it.
excellent.
I get it.
He's excellent. The beautiful game. His comments are so epic, I swear.
He
Go
crucifies
ahead,
me
Roger,
every
please.
time.
I have to go take my boy to school. But
I'm
go ahead,
sorry.
brother, finish
He
the round up.
crucifies it. That's beautiful. Yeah, no, I get it. But what he says and how he perceives, for instance, people like Sterling, I politely and respectfully disagree. I don't get it. He doesn't pass my eye test. However, you know, you have Sterling and you have, let's say, Pulisic and let's say Ziyech on the training ground. Maybe he sees Sterling excelling and those other two are not. There are coaches even in the NFL that have said, I only go by what I see on the training ground. I've seen that before. He may be one of them. I'm not sticking up for him. Do I agree with it? Not at all.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say.
So again, yeah, thank you very much, Roger, and thank you to everybody on the panel. As unfortunately, this is again, it has been a delicious debate, so sweet, so enjoyable, very civil. And those in the chat also from again the Queen of the House, Just Viola, Liam Lane, again the Captain of the House, again you could say the comedian of the house, really. Again, Limitless, everyone. It's been fun. Again, plus Minto, our brother there. Again, everyone else in the chat. It's been Coach Chris also, Supreme Court. It's been a brilliant show, very enjoyable. This is the type that I usually sometimes like to go watch back because there's something again great, always something new to learn from it. Again, very important, really. I enjoy it, and I hope you did as well. With that, we've come to the end of the show, and I cannot thank you guys enough. Again, I hope to have this same crop of panelists again, and others who has time, but who will have the time to join us again. Thank you so much, guys. See you guys next time, and also I'm seeing Chelsea Boy again. I hope to see you guys next time. God bless us all, and bye.
Big up the Chelsea. Bye, everyone.